With your blood, Spirit of the living God, be a word like the blood of Jesus, 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 the powerful blood of Jesus, the precious blood of Jesus. Our Lord Jesus Christ, ulela kuwe ulela abantwana bethu ulela kuwe bawo wakho unyange wonke umuntu lapha nabantwana babo sibuleke He has done great things. Hallelujah. He has done great things. Praise His holy, holy name. For this day. This is the day that you have made for us to rejoice and to be glad in it. So, Father, we choose Nkosiyam to make this day the best day of our lives. We choose Nkosiyam to be here as these parents who are raising children with autism. Stella wena ke Mesiyongcwele, as you have promised us that you'll never leave nor forsake us. Everything that we do Nkosiyam, we commit it into your hands. For we know that nguwe isibane senyawo zethu. Kwanguwe Nkosiyam ukukhanya endleleni yethu. Sithi Mesiyongcwele, there is nothing impossible with you. Father, I pray that every word that we are going to share in this place, Thixo wami isuke kuwe Nkosiyam. Lungisa ke Mesiyongcwele inhliziyo zethu, ulungise Thixo somandla to receive everything that will be shared Thixo wami. Sithi bawo, as we are discussing the issues that affect our children, the issues around the potty training, the issues around the diet, nutrition, the issues around the problem behavior, plus Thixo somandla, the activities that we are going to do, we invite your presence, Spirit of the living God. Sithi ke Thixo wami, we also pray for those who are still on the road. Sithi Father, we silence Nkosiyam every voice, every spirit of the road Nkosiyam. Sithi ngegama lika Yesu, they are going to arrive here safe in the name of Jesus. Father, I pray for each and every woman, every person in this place. Sithi ke bawo somandla, thatha indawo Nkosiyam. Thina siyehla sithi mayibe nguwe onyukayo in this place, in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, also pray for those of us who are not feeling well today. Thixo wami, sithi I declare that we are healed because of the pain that you suffered. We are healed because of your stripes. Sithi Thixo wami, siyakubulela ngakho konke uzokwenza on this day, in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. I think we should start. And maybe for the first part of this, ungathatha coffee yakho, and then you just bring your chair around here for the first part. Umntana wami uChumile une-autism, was diagnosed at 3 years, I think 9 months. Obviously at the time we didn't know uba yintoni le asafarisha iyalila, we don't know what he wants, intona angayifuni nje kubi. But then obviously the pediatrician would be like, no, this is just a delay. Don't worry, it's not a problem, you know. But then there was something funny because it was a daycare center. We didn't have the name, so it was like a daycare center. So when I said daycare center, we're so concerned about le nto angazenzi ezinye izinto ezenziwa ngabanye abantwana. Upstairs phaa angonyukile akafuna ukwehla and uthatha oobhaka babantwana abasuse phana eshelfini ababeke phaa, but we'll remember uba ebephi na ubhaka phinda babeke. So it was weird too, abantu base-daycare. And then we went again. Eventually we were referred to a clinical psychologist. And the story then says up to this point. But for me in particular, it was quite a very difficult situation because, interestingly, I was teaching a module on all of these barriers to learning, and autism was one of them. So I would stand in front of the student teachers and talk about autism. This is what you need to do, you know, when you teach your child. And then when my own child was diagnosed with autism, I'm like, no, let me go back to that book. And I realized that maybe it was God's way of preparing me for what lied ahead, because I didn't really understand why I was given that module, because it's not in my area of specialization, like educational psychology. But you know God's ways, nobody knows, you know, by yena wenza kanjani na. But to cut the long story short, I think 2014, I resigned from my job. I went to Pretoria. At that time, I was also going through a process of divorce, so it was a lot of things going on. But I went to Pretoria. When I got there, you know, when you are divorced, you're like, oh Lord, is salary one go? Who's going to take care of Tommy and all of those things? So I thought, oh yeah, anyway, there is a God who is the provider, who supplies all of our needs according to his riches and glory. And at that time, Mutumi had a lot of eczema, and he was on gluten-free food. Yes, a lot of eczema. I don't know if you noticed, there were some pics that are shared at some stage. It's because of these things where it's kaba, you see? But so I really asked God, I said, listen, here's the situation now. I can't afford to buy gluten-free food. It doesn't matter if it's helping him or not. But then you have to prove yourself as a God who is a healer. And this is the child, please. We're going to feed him with vegetables. You know, I won't put spices in his food, whatever it is that needs to be done. But no gluten-free food. I don't want anything to do with diet or anything like that. I'm just trusting you for a divine intervention. And I would love you to do this for me. Amen. I left it there. I promise you, it was a matter of weeks. Tommy's skin cleared. White everything, white your wheat pigs, everything that we eat. And I thought to myself, well, if this is the situation, I am not going to be alone. There is God who's going to, you know, start working on this. Then I started to think differently about the situation, because it was very difficult for me to accept, you know, because it's so difficult to raise a child who is different, who's differently able. And I didn't really think I had the capacity, because I work in an institution of higher learning. So our work doesn't end. She can attest to that. We work all the time. And some of you who are teachers, you know, that's how it is. It never stops. You have to do research, you do community engagement, you teach, you have to prepare. You have to go everywhere, you travel, you go overseas, you go everywhere. So there is no time. So this was becoming a little bit of an inconvenience, in my view, only to learn later on that some children are born like that. Other children are born differently from my child. And therefore, it's just a question of learning how to raise a child who is different, who has autism. So that is where my journey started. Then I started writing my book long time ago, you know, just to outline everything that is happening, his milestones, what I feel, what I think, and all of that. But that was not enough. I felt that, what if there are other parents who are also going through, you know, similar experience? Maybe they have also been battling with accepting the situation. They've been battling with potty training. Oh, I don't even want to talk about been battling with potty training, been battling with low muscle tone. I mean, uChumi, oh my God. Nobamba so, esithi so, uyibamba izinto ziwe. Izandla zisebenzi, andiyazi man. Uhamba ifizio, utyokotyoko, xa ndimjonga ngoku ndithi it can only be God. This dog. So when I post it with blog like into azenzayo, I'm like, really, wena Chumi ubambe ibrush wena. Uyambise so ubambe into wena ngezandla zakho ebezingasebenzi zivele zisebenze. So yena, it was a situation apho ubona ingathi ubunjwa ngokuya ekhula. Ufike engumuntu nje kuba ephefumula, but izinto zenzeka ngokuya ekhula. So that is why every day I'm so grateful and I really give the glory to God. So e-university ke apho sebenza khona kubakho into ekuthiwa yi-community engagement. You have to do a project. Sisithandi, for instance, when the project maths teachers at UTN Hague, train on how to teach mathematics. That's a community engagement. That is, you service the community. That is why, for instance, when you come to these things, you don't pay entry fee. Session is 100 rand. It's because it's a community engagement. We service. So what better way for me to service the community other than having us here as parents who are raising children with autism? So that is how we started. I started in 2019. That is how we were launching it. So what we do basically, we come together in a community of practice. We are more or less, on the same, I would say, I don't want to say level, on the same threshold level. Apho umuntu ngamnye kukho into ecommon phakathi kwam naye. Loo nto leyo kukukhulisa umntana one-autism. So kwi-community of practice ke nifika nabelane ngezimvo zenu around that issue. Akho mntu utitsha omnye uba umntu ngamnye apho uyi-expert yomntana wakhe. Akho mntu uzosuka phaa azokuxelela whatever. It's just that you add something that you don't know. So for mna ke ngoku the major part of this community engagement ukuba abazali benze i-activities. Xa uhleli nomntana wakho nge-weekend masithi uyafunda esikolweni, wenzani naye nge-weekend, wenzani naye nge-holiday. You need to be able to do some activities naye. So that is the major part of this community of practice. Hence kukho eza-handbox nentoni. So uChumi ke is homeschooled. Why esikolweni ngoko siya esikolweni, but I was never happy with the school because I'm a teacher by profession. So isikolo will never be fine for yena. Because I know exactly what needs to happen in a school situation, and it was not happening. I remember there were times uteacher wakhe ndimthathe mna ngokwam ndimse kwi-training yo-teacher because akasiwa kwesi sikolo. Ndifika classroom, how can i-classroom yabantwana ibe empty, there are no pictures, nothing. I would go and buy all of those things. Ndithi kuyabanda, I would take imat endlini ndizoyibeka classroom. So it was like, what is happening, And then when you ask questions based on the reports about Nikazona Mazali, they couldn't answer me. So I thought this is just a waste of time. I can't. Abantu abasurvive la situation ngo-lawyer nogqirha nabanye abantu ezinye careers because they have no idea of what is happening, like the pedagogical realities of the classroom. So that was the challenge that I had. There was no way I could allow my child to go through an education system that is inadequate. And the worst thing was ndoba mna ndivuka every day ndiye South Campus e-university ndiyoteacher otitshala. Umntana utitshwa ngabani, utitshwa ngutitsha lonjani. Ndititsha otitshala abenza i-B.Ed, abenza i-honors, abenza i-masters, i-PhD. Umntana wam atitshwe ngutitsha ono-6, standard 6, ongakhange aye e-training school, ongakhange aye e-university. Then I could not accept that. So those were the struggles that I had ukuze aphele esendlini. But ke ngoku it was a question yoba i-resources zizovelaphi. And I got to know, because I was also, at that time I was teaching some of the students here, the foundation phase. And also one of our colleagues, Dr. Nochulan, who's no longer here, we used to talk about. And I thought, what about using what is at home, what is already there, as something that you can use as a learning resource, so that you just buy a few things. For instance, sweet. You don't throw these things away. They can be useful. Oh, sorry. And then spray. You don't throw it away. Because amfundisa ukusebenzisa imask zakho gala amanzi apho kwenza azospraya. So uzange uyothenga ezinto kodwa ubune sanitizer endlini. So you keep all these things and you use them for abantwana bakho. So that is what we do. So now njengoba nize apha nizofunda leyo nizoyifunda namhlanje. I-request yami into yoba xa ufika back kwakho ufundise someone else the same thing. So I'll also be giving you some of the activities that you can do. Share that information. Don't keep it with yourself. I'm sure most niyabona kwi-blog ndiyashare uba uxhumi wenzani. And loba khona abantu abathi ndizawuyenza le ndithi no, go ahead, do it. That is the whole point. You don't keep in knowledge. Xa ufile phana ezibhokisi ndazithini like le information. You need to be someone okwaziyo uyishare in-knowledge. Ukwenzela someone else akwazi ukufunda from that. Whatever wena onayo uthi xa kuphe yona, you must learn ukuyishare with other people. So I just wanted to give you a background as to what is happening and why we are here. Okay. Right. So in a nutshell, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And yeah. So thathi roundi awukho kude afuna ungena. Now in any event, bengicela nje umuntu athi ubani umama kabani umntana akho neminyaka emingaphi, just nje briefly 2 minutes each. So qala kuwe mama.
Mina ngifezeka Thothobe, ndingumama kaZenande. uZenande is 12 years old, umfana akakwazi uthetha. Uhlala eNew Bright.
Okay.
Mina ndinombuzele kunogqaja. Ngumama kaLimisi. Limisi una 7 years old. Uyathetha phana pha.
Uhlala kulo?
Ndihlala eDapa apha kaZakhe.
eDapa.
Vele mina ndingubabalo wakwaMbalula, ngwaseQonce, and ndingumama kaImivuyo. Imivuyo is 10 turning 11 ngo-October. This is student apha eNMU, that's why ndilapha.
Molweni, ndinguLoyiso Mashawa, ndihlala eSummerstrand. Mna ndingutishara wabantwana aba-autistic.
I am Melelo. I am an autistic person.
Thanks for coming.
Molweni, igama lami ndinakuxoxa. I'm so sorry for being late. Ndihlala eSummerstrand, ndifunda khona ndizosupport uProf.
Igama lami ndinguAsanda Peters, ndinomntana oseason 8 but abantwana by 3 napa ndifuna ubulawa ngilona asenathi akusitotshele nto asana special too much. So ndilapha for usupport and support. Thank you.
NdinguNoluthando, ndihlala eWoma, ndingumama kaIbanathi noUsenathi, but autistic nguUsenathi. He just turned 5 ngoJuly. He's non-verbal.
Usakhala.
Okay.
Molweni. Mina ndingusanda ngemntu, ndingusister kaAsanda. Nomakazi kaAsalon lo autistic 8 years old. Ndizosupport sister wam ndizele nam phofu to gain information from.
Yeah, thanks.
Ndiyanibulisa igama leNkosi Yesu.
Amen.
Ndingunoma igama lami Mangesi. Ndingumama kaZuzu, igama lakhe nguLizukise eligcweleyo noLibongwe. O-autistic ke nguZuzu. Una 7 turning 8 ngo-October. Ndihlala eTinarha.
Hi. Hi.
Molweni, igama lami nguSunas Madlolo. Ndinomntana autistic ona 6.
Thank you so much.
Molweni, igama lami ngumfundisi waKhadwa, ndihlala eBridgemead. Ndinomntana oyintombazana ona 4 years. Igama lakhe nguViwe, udiagnosed ngoDisemba uba autistic. Udlule. Yes. So it's still very difficult. She is autistic with speech impairment.
Okay.
Molweni, igama lami ndinguZiyanda. Ndihlala eJeffreys Bay, but umntana ulapha eMotherwell uhlala nomakhulu. Igama lakhe nguLiyaphuma, una 5 years. Into yakhe it's been 2 months now. Sisahamba i-speech therapist, so asikayazi ukuba uqhubeka ntoni, unantoni. Kuyo yonke loo nto leyo silinde i-speech therapist sisixelele ukuba ithini into. Una 5 years yiboy.
Thank you.
Okay, bethu molweni nonke. Uthandi Wehlam, the head of department of the foundation phase up in Missionville Nikwam, and amkelekile. My interest is to get a better understanding autism. And okwesibini ndibulela uProf Mamtsanga for bringing this concept kuthi at awugqiba ayazi uba there are parents, there are educators who are responsible for abantwana aba-autistic, and that is going to make us as the university now to know into yobana we have a role to play, in as much that if you do allow me, Prof, we have a diploma in early childhood care and education SE Planayo that is in the process of development. It's one of the modules as Abapaya because we need that better understanding and also to equip the teachers rather than waiting in Toba City, with special schools. So my interest is to be there and support you and know Umhlambi, what is it, Prof, that we can support you with. Because
thank you, but first of all, thanks for allowing us to come here. I think it's quite a nice venue. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So, Ninani Figaika, we're introducing ourselves because we have already prayed. I gave the background, so it's just an introduction, and we felt that because it's cold, we can be cozy around the fire. Although it's up. Right. So, welcome, Kosi. I'm sure some of you know Kosi. You don't? Okay. So Kosi is one of the people very much interested in autism education. We work together as a stakeholder in the university because we are designing 2 short learning programs. Many registration. Yes. 2 short learning programs. One of those is on just giving an introduction to autism, just a theoretical aspect. And the second module is on the teaching strategies that you can use. So you can choose any of the SLPs and you register, but I will let you know. That's why I need your phone numbers and everything. And therefore, I invited her to come here, just share her expertise around the challenging behavior. Like when we have kids, whatever by inside. So she's going to share, her experiences in that regard. She also is a leader or maybe an owner, CEO of Umpanda Foundation, and has got a school as well, teaching children with autism. So in case you don't have a school during eating and doing details, apply. And you must pay the fees. But thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate that you made it during this weather. Okay. And next to Kosi, you know her. Yeah. She's so beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. So that is Candice's teacher. Okay. Yeah. So she came. Candice, I really appreciated that you came. I know you had to go to support your boys. Did they play?
They played in the rain. Everyone was sopping wet. That's why you must excuse my hair.
No, you still look beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
I appreciate
It's a
it.
privilege.
And then, when you have to introduce yourself, and now you know your time. Okay.
I'm a mother of 3, 2 boys and 1 girl. And for me being here, one of my daughters, Omio, she's autistic. So I'm so excited being here. Everything that has to do with autism, I have my interest in it. She is so interesting, so I would also like to gain some tool or in some way, anything that can assist me to help her. And I hear that there's also programs, like education programs.
Yes.
I've been telling my friend, this is my friend. I said we must just get ourselves involved with anything that has to do with learning, even if I have to change field. I'm so in love with getting to know more information. Yeah.
And it's very important. Yes, the one way to heal is to learn about this thing. Because mongazi noba kwenzekani uzothi why esonyuka amadonga uzoba frustrated, but if you know why esonyuka udonga, then you will know, you know. So I really want to encourage the parents to read, but what we want to do as well is to translate what we have into isiXhosa and Afrikaans, so that people can have access to information. Because sometimes when you read stuff about autism, sometimes it's too medical. You still have to find out what does that mean and all of that. So we really need to get into these communities of practice and we share information. Before you came, Ukosi knows, Candice knows. So before we came a community of practice, everyone is an expert here. So you talk whatever you want to say depending on what we are going to talk about. But the major thing about it are the activities that you have to go to do. Xa uphuma apho uzophuma une-skill, ufike ubize yakho i-community of practice ngendawo uhlala kuyo, you train abantu abapha abanye parents. That is what you need to do. I'm excited. Yeah, please, people, don't keep this to yourself. Please. No, it's like, sasisavangela ne, senza door to door. Ufike emzini, ufike ubaxele ngoYesu Kristu osindisayo, uphume uye khona. It's the same. Fika ubize yakho i-group, ubatrain, you move on and so forth. Nontando, who are you?
Apologies for being late. My name is Nontando Mlonzi. I have a son, he's 7, he has autism, and I have a daughter, she's 11, and she has ADHD. So my journey of early childhood development started with my daughter, because obviously she was different. She just has energy for days and very creative at the same time. So those things like lining up, you know, when you line up shoes, when she did those things. So she had some autistic tendencies. So I knew that there were some behaviors that were similar to my son that my daughter used to do. But obviously when he didn't speak and he was 1.5 years, and they would say, no, it can't be autism. And by then I was on the internet, I was on Facebook, I was on everything, and everything was telling me, Mama, this is autism. And the doctor was saying, no, it's too young. The one report I got when he was 3 years old from Provincial Hospital said he has autistic tendencies, but he doesn't have autism. And I was like, guys, it's okay, you can tell me, it's okay, I'm ready to accept it, it's okay. And anyway, we kept going, seeing speech therapists, seeing OTs, and I would sit in the session and I would say, first, before we start the session, what are you going to do? So how is this play going to help me so that I would understand, and then, okay, now we're going to see you in 2 weeks' time, so what do I do in the meantime? And they would tell me, okay, this is the games that you can play with him in the meantime until next time. And just to cut a long story short, my son started saying mama when he was 4 years old. And his dad was also mama, his granny was also mama, his teacher was also mama. So everyone of authority was mama. But now, just this morning, his father showed him a picture of him when he was 1 year old. He says, Zine, look, there's Zine. I asked him to English. For some reason, children don't speak English. I have colleagues at work who have grandkids. They grow up in an African-speaking home. They watch Afrikaans TV, but they speak English in an American accent. So. My son speaks in an English accent. He likes Peppa Pig, so he speaks in an English accent. Yeah. So he said to us, Dad, no, that's not me. I'm big.
Oh, that's
like you. I wish I could. Can you repeat that? So he knows, but that's a baby. I'm big.
Yeah, that's me.
So they do get better, but in their own pace.
Yes.
And we, as autism mothers, celebrate what looks like silly things to the next person, but to us, we know it's a big thing.
Exactly.
So I just love to know, and even at work, I work in a call center, there's about 150 of us. Everyone knows I am the autism ambassador. If you want to know anything, if your child is doing something strange and odd, ask me. So they know I proudly wear my badge that I'm an autism mom, and it's something that has been held as a secret for so many years, and I want our children to be out there and to be free for us to say my child has autism. So what?
Yeah.
So that's why I love coming to these workshops. Because
and Nontando was one of the people when I started the blog. She was one of the people on the blog.
I wanted to start a blog. That's why. So I thought she's doing exactly. So I'm very supportive.
Yeah. And she always comes to everything that I do. So she's my #1 supporter. Kaiser Chiefs. Thank you so much. I appreciate it that you are here. Candice, would you like to say a few things and maybe just a bit of experiences too?
You'll have to stop me if I go too long. So I'm Candice. I am a teacher. I studied psychology, and then I started teaching, and then I studied remedial therapy, and then I had my own 3 sons, and then I stopped working full time with my colleague. We used to be colleagues. Yes, and then for a while I wasn't doing much, and then we came across my path, and then many other children. And I feel so blessed to be here. Every time I do anything with Prof, then with Makatomi as I call it, then I feel so blessed. I learn so much from each and every one of you, and I'm excited to learn whatever we learn here today and take it back to my Umi. Yes, I think the biggest thing that I've learned from Umi is that I can never assume that I know. He's a teenager, I must not forget it. He thinks he knows, and sometimes he does know better than I do. And just because he doesn't speak doesn't mean he doesn't know. Just because he doesn't speak doesn't mean he's also going through teenage things, and he wants to be assertive and wants to do what he wants to do, or sometimes not. And yes, I've had to learn to roll with the punches that way, but I'm loving it because it's a humbling experience. I just learn from him every single day. I love it. And thank you for having me. I hope you're going to get to play a bit just now.
Yeah, definitely.
And get to get dirty and messy. I love that.
Okay. At this point, thank you so much. I really appreciate it that you came. And at this point, I'm going to ask Kosi just to share, Kosi, your whatever, 20 minutes. Don't joke.
20 minutes is like 1 second.
I know.
And when I start with autism, I can't stop. Can I sit here?
Yes,
It's cozy, it's nice. I'm late. I'm apologizing for that. I was busy. There's a child near where I stay. He lost the father 5 years ago, I think. And he lost the mother in December. He is staying with a nanny. He is at my center. Staying with a nanny. The aunts, one is in East London and one is in Port Alfred. They are doing nothing. They are not even trying to get to know the child. Like, I want you to think, to really think and do something. The cries of parents who come to me is, what will happen to my child if I die or when I die? That's the cry of the parents. We cannot run away from that. I am experiencing that now. I have to be a mother there. In so much, I've told the executor of FNB that I want the child taken out of my center because I find myself in family things. I don't need that. I don't need that. There's too much on my plate. I love that child. I love the nanny. We were like close with the mother. But it's too much for me. I cannot take it. And they're not doing anything. I asked them to take the child out of my school. And they say, we are going to do it. No, we can't do it. And even the executor, this Selina lady, is saying, because I'm trying to find a place, but I'm still looking after the child. The worst part, one of the aunts wanted a money from a guy who happens to be my in-law who is in Canada. This guy called me, because how can you do this? How can I do what? The aunt is saying, I think the aunt is getting some money from him. The aunt wanted to do an operation, eye operation or something. The aunt said to him, I said to her that this boy must not put his foot at the center without bringing 3,000 up front. What 3,000? And I say to this brother-in-law, I am transporting the kid free of charge because they are refusing to pay me. The child is at my center without no school fees. How can I do that? You know, I'm in that soups. I have to fight, I have to do this and that. Think about who to want. Because it's not necessary to live to a sister who doesn't care about your child. Even the executors, the trustees, they are going to waste your money. Everybody is going to do something, but if your child is getting love, at least love, whether it's your friend, it's your colleague, think about this. It's there, it's true. Can I start now?
Yes, you may.
Okay. Just yesterday, I was talking about that with my colleague about what is going to happen when we are no longer around. And you know, exactly. I'm lucky that my sister and I are very close.
Okay.
So even now, he was on holiday for 3 weeks with her in East London. 3 weeks. December, it was 5 weeks. Everyone at work. I was wearing makeup. I was like, guys, I have time in the morning.
I think it's because of your personality. You know, I don't know you, but the few minutes you were talking, I learned something from your personality. I'm sure it's there.
And you know, a colleague of mine doesn't have kids, but she's always so excited and so interested in all the progress that I'm always telling her about my son. And she said that she would like to leave some money for my son if she passes on, because she's leaving money for her kids, and then that one's kids and that one for the family. And I felt so bad, you know, because I do talk about what will happen, who is the child going to live with. So let's say my sister's also not around, because right now I'm happy to say it's my sister, but my parents are old, and then what happens if they are also gone? What is the next place? So I came across a place called Let Us Assist. On Facebook, they have an organization that takes care, especially for final expenses, for people who only have one child, and sometimes we don't write wills, and then we expect the state to take care of the child, and like you say, the executor doesn't care. No. Where is that child going to live? Even if your child is in a school with a hostel, what happens in December time when the hostel is closed? Who is going to stay with your child when schools are closed for 5 to 6 weeks in December? When they haven't had training.
Since the mother died, no one is taking the child. But they want the mother's
But they want the money.
They want everything. They want everything.
I think that should be our next topic.
Yes, I think talk about it.
Yes, it really needs to be outlined, because we really need to also establish if you have taken a policy for your child. Because you can't leave those people who are alive with a responsibility. And also, have you done some savings? You know, those kind of things which are real. So we really thank Kosi for raising that. It's really a topic for discussion. Over to you.
I'm happy. Yeah. Molweni bethuna kwakhona, ndinguKhosi, ndingumamkhwethu, ndizalwa nguMampondolise. Ndimlobo. I am a founding director of Umphanda Foundation for Autism. The autism yathatha amehlo am 2002 ndibona ibhalwe just in 4 lines. There was no Google at that time. I tried to find out when I speak to people by Indonento, I come to Nomdla even know yes. So I went to the libraries, there was nothing. I went to UPE, there was nothing about autism. And I kept talking about it when I'm with other people. In 2009, sine club, panthetha ngayo ngoSeptember, 4 ladies that is phangele quest kwisikolo se-autism iphi eSouth End. So ngomvulo olandelayo ndaya kwi-district yam ndafuna i-cross transfer to Quest ndaqala kudibana autism. Masithethe nge-challenging behaviors. Most abantwana bathethi mos. Xa ungathethi banepicture yakho mhlawumbi ufuna stroke awukwazi uthetha. Ufuna into emntwini but awukwazi uverbalize. Uzafinisha njani? Uba nomsindo frustrated because awukwazi ukuverbalize lento and umuntu kunika into ezirongo. So aba bantwana masibathatheni ngelo hlobo abakwazi uthetha but baphila nathi and bayeva ba understand. Uthetha nabo short simple sentences like 3 words. 3 words umjongile uya understand uya respond kuwe. So njengoba bengathethi njena i-frustration ye-challenging behaviors iqala phaa koba ungathethi. Ibe phaa kwi-senses. Zingaphi senses zethu? Nisemva zi-8. Nisemva zi-8 zifakelwe ngenxa yabo. Zi-8. Ndithetha namhlanje ke ngento eyi-1 and ndinikwa 20 minutes ndimntu abongathandi ukuphatha into yomandijonga but ngofuna ndimandijonga inxa yoba funeka ndibe specific. Zi-8 i-senses ngoku esinazo. Kukhona i-vestibular ekhangela aba umuntu indawo niyababona mosibenjenje uyazikhangela bandiphi kwi-space. Bethuna abantwana they are going through hard time. Abantwana every second they try ukuphila nabanye abantu. Bayazikhusela ngokwabo. You are not there. Asikho kubo. We don't understand what they go through every second of their lives. It is very painful. When nje uthwana makahlale phansi. Uyazikhangela bandiphi kwi-space. This is so painful. Ndiyazazi bandihlele esitulweni. Ndijonge kule camera. Ndiyazazi bandiphina. How would you feel ungazazi nokuphina? You know, sasencokola ndisasebenze Quest ke ntoba sometimes why besenje nje xa bezawutya kanti ukukhangela umlomo wakhe buphi. It's not easy. It's not easy for you parents to live like that. It's a 24/7. Awuthina funeka ujongene nalo mntana. Zi-8 go and check. Zi-8 ngoku i-senses. Siye ke ngokuba why bene-challenging behaviors. Thina nje basihlela apha namani na unayo i-problem ne-sense noba iyi-1 noba ziyi-2 qha kuba thina sisithi si-normal siyakwazi. Umzekelo uhlela apha ngoku udikiwe uzawuba sokusithi so uzama ukuzipholisa nawe and uzama ukuconcentrate. Unengxaki nawe njengoba usenza le nto ngomnye unengxaki nawe ngokungena-autism okanye uthi okanye wenje nje usinazo but bona ingxaki into yoba zibafumana emnye umntana zoyi-8. I-sensory mos ndiva uNokhanyo thetha andiboni ndive thetha ne ingqondo yam laa nto ithethwa nguNokhanyo uNokhanyo uyathetha kuzawusebenza indlebe auditory. Indlebe nje bivile njena ibheka phi engqondweni la sound. Ingqondo iyakhangela uba ndiyayazi ngale sound. Ingqondo indiphendule uba nguNokhanyo uthethayo. Cingela la mntana ne-autism uthetha uNokhanyo usazama uprocessa nto kaNokhanyo kutsho ngapha mhlawumbi ifowuni usazama uprocessa kulapho ke ngibevela baphakuzele ngoba overwhelmed. Ile sensory input iza kuye akakwazi ukuyiprocessa yonke lento yenzekayo. Yabona ke ngoba uya ezanto ziyamfrustrate ziyamstressa. Okay. Yes. Yes.
So the sun is getting bigger now.
Kulapho ke ngoku ila sensory ziyam overwhelma njena kukho abahyper kukho abahyper abafana babantu omnye uva kakhulu omnye uva kancinci luva kancinci ingozi yoba angabeka nesandla phezu kwesitovu esishushu angevanga. It is just painful. Nazi ke ngoku izinto zininzi ziyam overwhelma. Uzakwenza ntoni? Uzawuzibethekisa edongweni ngentloko, uzawuziluma or uzawubetha wena. As challenging behaviors akazenzi ngabomi. Astime omnye utraya ukuzikhalmisha down. Uzama ukuba makangathi uyaphola kule nto ayivayo wena ungayiviyo. Steaming jebe stima nje ngenxa yale over processing yale sensory uzenza buhlungu, uyazibetha, uyaziluma, uyabhengisha inhloko yakhe, uzama ukuzithomalalisa kwezi zinto zonke azivayo angakwaziyo ukumelana nazo. It's too much. Yena indlela akwaziyo ngayo ukuzithomalalisa but ngelo xesha uyazivisa kabuhlungu. Omnye uzawuroka, uyaroka back and front or sideways or aflepe enje. Don't stop them. Qha into mawuyenze umane umbiza ngegama awungxoleli. Awungxoleli. Because bava kakhulu. Awungxoleli. Chumi akuthi nothi chumi yeka akutsho. Umane usithi nje chumi uzambona uzawude ehle. Siyezi nina unomntana we-1 phambi kwakho thina bangathi phambi kwethu ingilone yakhe nomnyune yakhe and funa ukube namehlo naye 8 uhle nje wenjinje because awufuna abanayo lanto bakho ingozi. They are not aware dangers around them. Abanayo lonto leyo. Nazi ke ngu-challenging behaviors. Uyazibetha, ubetha wena. Enye into engamandla eyenza i-challenging behavior yi-anxiety. Whatever uzawuyenza, xelele. Abantu be-routine aba.
Yeah.
They want to know. Abafuni surprises. Ukuba ngoku xa usiya kwa-spa, awuzunyuka uzawuhla ubuyogqitha kwenye indawo xelele siya kwa-spa kodwa ngoku asihamba ngapha sihamba ngapha engamxeli ubeka yi-1 akazo-understanda umxele kubeka yi-1 anxiety ngoku uhla indlela kuthe kuyo kwa-spa uyaphakuzela ngokuba kubhekwaphi ngoba ngumntu we-routine. They want to know. Anxiety udibana nabantu abatsha sukumfosta na umntana wam kuba ufuna nomntana kuba ngabonwe no. Yonke into hamba istep esinye phambi kwaso imenza anxious ngoba bathi igqine strangers. It's fight or flight. Andibazi abantu ndifuna ubala kwaye ndifuna ukulwa. Bazali luhambo into ye-autism alululanga nani niyakhubazeka kule ndlela. You did not order these kids. That's what I always say ebantwini. They did not order these kids. Ngoba wayene bundle of joy wayesazi bane bundle of joy izawuba ngohlobo nohlobo njengabanye abantwana bebawona phambi kwabo but kwenzeka ba my bundle of joy is something special. Suhlale koneni yakho bayayazi olwethu. I started a group in 2015 xana nimandi bizo mandokwenza i-awarenesses. Started this group ye-parents. The first 4 days yayizizikhalo bechazindlela bephila ngazemizini neighbors ngoba abantu bayajajwa bahlele ezindlini abantwana babazivalele ndathi go out. go out nabo, they belong to the society. Abazuhlala kwenye indawo, there's no special place for them. Indlela ngoku kula support group anifani ungena kula support group yeyabo. Bayancedana, bayanyangana, banikana amacebo. Abazali ba transformed, abazali bakula group. Ba transformed, awedwanga abazali. Lo mntana uyakhula benamandla akubethe. Kho mntana bekum, mama ke wafumana indawo, mama ke uTiny no-sister wakhe bamse boarding school because yababetha utsibicingo ngoku ahamba lahleke. Expect those things to happen nakuni. But nangoku niyakwazi uhlala ngohlobo ngegroup. Talk about these things. Xa kunje kuzawuthini? Talk about them. Enye into nje anxiety nje ne-weather iyabenza ba akaza most kusebusika ngoku. Sasa uyamnxibisa kupolonike kuyintoni imini yaqina ushushu but akakwazi ukuthi ndivashe into abantwana bane-autism inibetha phi nothethayo akakwazi ukuthi isusam sibuhlungu izinyo lam libuhlungu. They can't. Xa bekhala bemsebenzini ubona bakho into rongo ofuna uphathwa kabangafuna uphathwa because uva kabuhlungu asomntu okutheni na uva kabuhlungu hleza wathetha uzakuxela ibe ngathi ndiyatsha xa ndiphethwe ngumntu ofuna uphathwa umbeka phaa kuwe uqala entloko uyakhala uyakhangela uba intoni ibuhlungu endlebeni uyephi mhlawumbi uzotsho ezinyweni athi gcwaka uyazi uba uphethwe intoni lizinyo you phone the parent ngeli xesha lawo uyambalekisa msahlambi if unekhadi lakhe umsa kwindawo kugqirha or uba kunakhadi uzama ubheka ekliniki okanye esibhedlele umzali ndawudibana phaa akakwazi ukuthi ndiphethwe into ethile. And we don't know how to teach them babakwazi ukuthi ndiphethwe into ethile. Kubekho into ya-sexual eza very early to them. And they know what to do. They masturbate. Talk about these things. Indalo yenzo kwayo. But kubo ngidla ukuthi nisenza ezi-awarenesses ndithi le nto yi-disorder. Ayombambani. Yi-disorder. Izinto eziqala late kuthi ziqala early kubo. I had a 6-year-old in my class. Ndivuyisa ukuba nentombazana ndisequest. Akathethi usisi. So ufika kula tafina nemibala. Ebefika ithanda isitulo esiblue. Abengathi uyalala over like nje isitulo nje ungathi ulala over isitulo. So umntana xa ngene eklasini yami ngoba bengikwa mainstream. Ndike ndibayeke iveki baqhele le environment kakhosi. Bandibona phandle mos ngongabanga. So after a week nje ke imani ke undingo ophetheyo apha. Sele bendiqhelile ke ngoku bandingumuntu onjani na. So nakwaba ndenza londo. Ngenye imini imoto ikwi-service dolanda imoto and i-toilet isecangwe class yethu yonakele so abantwana bami bogciniswa ne-assistant yam kwenye class yabantwana bakhudlwana so izitulo asikho nganyezamo mhlawumbi singakazona. Xa ndibuya ekhosi hayi intombi yakho yenza izinto into ezitheni njengoba iqabele izitulo nje yenza izinto ekwenza observe eklasini waqalisa simjonge ne-assistant kanti udibanisa ucinjanazana wakhe nekona yesitulo. Manipindi, they know what to do. They know zange bayibona kubani but they know what to do. Dibanisa apha okay ngeke ubani phakame phambili nekumsindo ithi ke assistant yam ngeke mina kakagqibi ndathi hayi eklasini xela ngabantu abangagqibanga. So friend yena abazali ngokubathi anikwazi ukutatsha bendla ngokuthi umsebenzini sale benithethe into ebazalini abazali ba-overwhelmed ngoku zabe usongeza nezalapha ezalapha maziphela izinto. So ndifowunela umzali ndibuza utata ukhona athi ndithi ibekeni kwispika ndithi kuba mamelani ke ugirl ngoku simfunisa uhlala esitulweni ahlale ngembundu because kofuneka esebenzile siqala umbona umsebenzi athi mama hayi nalapha khosi wenza loo nto uqabele esitulweni ndathi hamba ungaqatyelwa ngoku makuhlalwe ngempundu so that azokwazi ukusebenza ndiphele ke ngokapha. Andigqithi andizobe ndithetha into zolwimi soba kwenzeka oku hell no. Uxakekiwe lo mzali uphathekile alabe nimongezelele. So naleyo into iyayenza i-challenge behavior, iyamenza bafuna uzokubetha because kaloku uvale into ayivayo ne. Ngoku wena xa uqalisa ungathi uzidibanisa ne-floor. Hayi phakama! No. Ndiyafuna nithethe ngezinto because kuthiwa i-principal yayisequest before uJomo. Kuthiwa yayindoda. Hey, andiva kahle nthilo ngoba bantu. Kodwa kuthiwa le ndoda yayineplastic ethile, umuntu waphesheya. Engithiwa wayegay. Umuntu waphesheya wayene-special plastic abanika sona. I think babelala phezu kwaso, something like that, like bangazihetish. Jonga mosixena ukhwela mhlawumbi kumatras owodwa njena. Unohetisheka icuba lakhe. Nalapha phansi ke, hey, umuntu azigibisela kulaa nto ye-social babengekho aware ngabanye abantu. Nawuthi nihleli ngohlobo ivukile into esikazigibisela apha nafetshe qha. So ngaske nibe nendlela yokuba mabathweni ngubani. Kuki rape ngoku iqala izifemeli phakathi. Ukhona ke lo gqirha wayese clinicals uswele ndimnibele ngokubani na. Kodwa usweleke i-COVID, ugqirha omdala. Uyithanda ubasa. Uyena lo weekends uye lowe because ndine parent mina yayine 6-year-old yayisithi umntana yene baqalise ukaqinelwa yayimsa kuye amhlabi nalithi kuthomalali. Xa ke ndikwe-symposium nezintoni izi-congress izintoni ndiyabuza kwaba bantu because ufika kuzele kuzi-neurologist kuzintoni yonke into scientific ndithi bethuna imedicine ngoku ihambe yomakude nizawuthi uma nayinto uthomalalisa sithomalaliso kwakuva kungabikho kuyareyitshwa ngoku ubi ukuba kuthomalaliswe lankanuko angayaziyo makayithina jonga abantu abamhlophe. They find partners for the kids. Am I wrong?
No, Mina, I have these old women on the blog who always say, I have a crush on Kumi.
Give them one time.
They do. On Love on the Spectrum, it was on Netflix. The parents of autistic children were trying to find partners because they were in their early 20s.
Exactly.
And now they want to date.
Yes.
And they also want to say, I don't want to date you again because I think we're not compatible. Then they go on another date with someone else.
Think about those who are non-verbal, because many of them are non-verbal. They won't be able to say, I want to date you. But the parents, do something, check a partner, check someone. You know, the mother, the late mother of this child.
Okay, if you don't mind, because I just want us to engage on the points that you have put to us.
Okay.
I just want us to have a discussion. I don't know. Some of the things that Kosi is mentioning, because the question that we are addressing here is, you know, what are the challenging behaviors that your children are displaying? For instance, he did mention some of the causes, that is the anxiety, you know, the fact that they can't speak, so they don't really understand when you say this is not what they want this, and all these other things that she mentioned. At the same time, she spoke about some of the things that you can observe, you know, as challenging behavior, like banging the head, you know, like also the whole thing around masturbation, spinning and so forth. So benifuna ke sihlomle kwezi zinto azithethileyo ukwenzela uba sizokwazi uequiphana. Wena umntana wakho kwezi zinto zibekiweyo apha yeyiphi eyona nto emchallengeayo and wena uye uzame uwenze ntoni ukuze abe right? For instance, she talks about, you know, some of these kids, they go to the doctor, they get an injection. That is one way. So ingaba nawo wenza kanjalo or uthini na? Yes, ma'am.
To be honest, because of into yomntanam is nyonkum and ixesha elinintsi uhlala nomakhulu wam. So ndabona abanye abazali naxa ethetha uyangqina mna ndaziphokola and owam umntana ubonwe ngumamam kumakhulu wam. And then ngoku wasixelela notatakhe, I think he was 2 years. The balance wethu mna because of I'm pregnant, because of ndiye ndamkhawulela ndaba-pregnant so ndamlibazisa kuba mazwana bamnyama uzothetha wethu umama lo mntana yabo so nyhani ke umntana am kanti une-autism so into azenzayo bendingazi-understand ndimbethe and xa ndimbethe kohoku athule athi alokhe ndifuna athethe mani and ngoku uyandistressa bendistressa but ngoku nyam i-speech therapist at least ndiyavuleka ngoku yabo and ngoku ngenye imini ndambetha kanti umnyathelo umntana entloko wayendlula wanyathela umntana lo mncinci entloko ndimbethe even na today xa kuthiwa ulele phantsi uyabhekela kuye uhamba so xa busakhumbula laa nto ndandimenze yona ukuba ndambetha yabo so ndiendapha ndifuna uba usakhumbula laa nto uyakuthanda ubhokopayi i-english ubukela kobhokopayi athi nothiwa ndiyambetha athi stop it mami and ngoku uthi ngoku ugqirha kuba lo i-speech therapist funeka afunde ilanguage yakhe because of i-english ufuna kakhulu etivini yabo ela lento bethetha usisibana xa uhamba naye ehlambeni qhela uhamba indlela ethile funeka umxelele ngokuba ndiyatshintsha and funeka ungayenzi isentence bende xa funeka uthi kuye hlala phantsi suthi ndicela uhlale phantsi funa ukuthi hlala phantsi apha abenokwazi nayo ukhawuleza uba ndifuneke ndihlale apha so mna kum le nto isentsha and ngoku iyandidepressa because of lo mncinci umntana uyathetha more than yena because lo mncinci una-2 years and kuthiwe must don't compare because abantwana abafani and naye uzathetha xa ixesha lihamba so ndiyavuya nam ukuba lapha namhlanje suka all the way from Jeffreys Bay ngocela i-off day ndathatha i-off day ndiyahamba because of umntana ubalekile and nam ngoku ndimvalele endlini iitshomi zam zinabantwana same age andikho ready to uxelela iitshomi zam uba hayi mani umntanam unjena ukubona and ngoku uzayenzela nendodla ndishaye yabo and kuthiwa mos laa nto angaba sisifo okanye yimfuzo kuthiwa yimfuzo phofu xa ndiguglish kuthiwa yimfuzo yabo so nam ndiyavuya uba lapha and ndizafuna into ezininzi.
Okay, thank you, Sisi. Zikhona isizwe ezibalulayo, for instance, u-Augusta Blessing, anyone ongathanda ukum-encourage, like maybe now you've been there, usoyika nokuxelela those things. Just brief words, ngoba abe-encouraged.
I would like to say, Mama, ungothuka, ufisiqaqa, if you started to tell iitshomi zakho. Bazathi, oh, nyhani, yazi nam ndinayo, usibeka sister wam. You would be so surprised. Sikho mina sibaninzi qha engilowulindlela mna thele kuqala. So bangavuya bona mhlawumbi bafunde kuwo ukuba ngaba sibe ngoomakazi abanjani, ukuba ngaba sibe ngoodade bawo abanjani, ukwenzela uba njengoba ufunda apho ufika ubabalisele uyinceda nabo ukuba ngazabanga ngoku andithi nawe uyonqena ukuhamba indawo nomntanakho kanti ezi ndawo siya koomama abanjena abakwaziyo ke ngoku-accommodate abantwana bethu because nathi asizifundeli thina for standard endlini singumama natata sifunda to teach others. Umntana beyiscratcha imoto katata iscratcha I don't know how many times utata wayekho inclaima kwi-insurance wamtata escratcha wada tata yayilinoba lithunyelo ebeyiscratcha nyhani ngamatye escratcha like escratcha ezidiphu ezicacayo wascratcha nekasister wam escratcha yonke all around wayithatha into esikhaya yayokusiwa iyokwenziwa yahlala wafumana irental wayishaya nerental yandiva so bayazenza into ezi-expensive kwafuneka mna ndikhuphe 3,000 ngelaka yayingodisemba ibonus ndikwazi unika isitama azawubhatala excess senza amatiletile ukubana leyerental ingacaci imoto khazonam usikaya beautiful jeep ipaka outside the yard because wenqena usine they understand so if uzothetha asizoyazi and njengoba nabo they are receiving information elsewhere okanye babona program nakho mntu ungandibalisele ngaprogram anything they see everywhere bayandibuza did you see cut lunch did you see this program so isupport uyazivimba actually wena ngocimba famba usa-protective over this uzawuba kule ndawo sikuyo nasisuka apho nathi uyazivimba i-information and uzivimba i-support because akusekho mntu uhlekayo xa umntana kwakusithiwa kudala ke zizidala okanye sithi yi-disorder ayisahlekisi laa nto and it's nothing to shy away from because akho nto irongo yenzileyo So you also need to not feel guilty. And ungafeelishi bad ubana nomncinci uyathetha uyamagqithela. All right. As a result, when uzawuba yipartner yakho and raising her older brother, because of Medis. Uza kuncedisa xelele bakleva abantwana bakhona
intombi athi naye intombi from uyafunde apha kumfana wakhe but to be honest akazenzi into ezifana abe mhlawumbi umuntu uba lena ayikho normal into ayenzayo ingqondo naye and he's very smart yabo but iproblem yakhe akafuna uthetha
kaloku zezasensory ke ngokanazo extra ezakhe sikhefuka le mos umuntu ongabonile kuye kuthiwe i-hearing yakhe sharpened so yishwele ke ngoku nyhani kum iyadibana le nto ithi so unayo into esensayo yazi mna i-danger was one of the things I've always been afraid of for Osnet, like for instance especially against loadshed uzinosolayite ikhandlela and things like that yena Osnet, before you leave the house I will let everybody out, then I will come back and check is the stove off because he likes to switch on the oven. Jay, just because he likes to
Okay, that's also for that. Okay,
What you feel is normal. Because awareness and acceptance. It is not easy to accept. Give yourself time. Don't feel pressured by anybody. Funeka wena ude uyamkela. The minute uyamkela, you'll start the journey. Awukayiqali journey because usakhangela and uthi akakenze into ezifani uzawuzenza into ezifani zokukhulula phakathi kwabantu abeze. Expect that. That's why we said toilet training. Uyakwazi ukuyela toilet. You are lucky because abantwana 12 basanqaba amanekini. You are lucky. You are lucky. Count your blessings. You are very lucky. You know, but kala yamkela yonke into yenza and wamkele ba angachange. Sometimes they regress. Jebi iminyaka ibheka pha. Babe sense uzigqiba impela ke senze 1 2 3 uyathi usithi wenza 4 5 6 ongam-understand you. Omnye eziminyaka ibheka pha uya ethomalala. Uyazithomalela. Kubantwana abana 18 20 athi umzali hayi ngibuya seniphekele we clean. But abanye basanida ujongwa.
Okay, I also like to add something. Speaking of Lendomana, you are afraid to tell people. Nama was there. But when he was through Imivuyo, I had to place him in a daycare center. I remember I had a breakdown because I had already paid fees and everything, and he went for the first day, Nani Pangele. And I come back and the principal says, no man, abazali bakhalas because he was stimming and he makes the sounds when he stims. And which is like, no, abazali complained that umntwana wakho uzobenza abantwana babo benze lento yenziwa ngumntwana wakho, so you had to take him out, yabo. So I had to take him out. She gave me back the money, and it's then that I decided that I need people who understand my son. And what's beautiful, since he is growing, and I'd get umakhulu calling me, baba ndimamele iradio manchomi, kuthathwa imivuyo, kuthethwa ngezinto zika imivuyo. And that has empowered me and has empowered the people around me to be able to assist me with him. Umzekelo andikho ngoku ndilapha eBhayi and my mom is in King with him. Umivu refused to go stay with the nanny, but the people in my area, they look after him because they know who he is. And whenever they've heard or seen something with regards to autism, he goes to school, because he enjoys his own company. So he comes back, athatha isitixo next door, akungeni mntu ke. Xa uya xa kumakhulu ufika xa kumakhulu awungeni emnyango uyadika. And they look after him. The beauty in informing people, it's a process. It took me time. In informing people is that they become your allies. They look out for umntanam. I don't want to lie. The people in my area and in my church, in my community, they look after.
Okay, thank you so much, Babalo. We have a lady here. When she was describing herself, she said she's autistic. So let's hear from her.
The neurodivergent community
community is large. I call us the neurodivergent community because that's what Gen Z.
Remember we said there's story. Sorry, before you continue, sehle kwela cala thina, and then we found the gate closed. So ndiyabona kukho abafana abazayo. Uyakhumsha ndithi sokhumsha bethu. Usasiphakisa because kaloku uyakhumsha kuba ndithi bethu.
The neurodivergent community is large. Like, you can get kids from the age of 5, 7, 10, 12 on TikTok talking about their experiences and how they're not understood by their parents and everything. When it comes to being part of the AS spectrum, from ADHD to autism, it is tough because I am a recovering self-harming addict. I used to cut myself because the voice, it's like, sometimes it would be like the things I should pull out of my ears because of the sound that other people make, or footsteps in hallways at school, or just somebody doing this. It's like there's something crawling under my hair when you do that. I don't like it, I don't want it, but it's hard to teach other people. But it's easy when somebody who has it say, hey, so I feel this way. I have a 14-year-old who is in summer strand. He loves explaining how he feels on TikTok. And he talk about how he feels in front of a camera because he feels like his entire world doesn't understand him. So I started talking to him. So try this, and he will come back and say, it worked. Try this, it worked. So your daughter has a memory, and she remembers if it's a daughter or a son. Your son has a memory like mine. I still have grudges towards my parents for things they did when I was 9. I remember things they did when I was 7. I'm never forgiving them. It's things that I remind them when they don't do them to my younger siblings, that if it was me, you would have done this. If it was this person, you'd have done that. So we remember. So try to find sequence instead of punishments. They help, because if you say, don't touch a stove because, and you explain the consequence of heat and everything, or turning on the stove and letting us put our hands and ranges the heat so that we know that that's danger. We adjust to that. I've met a lot of parents that worked for. Another thing I'd like to highlight, the things called fidgets. I don't know if anyone knows what they are. In cases of anxiety, they work marvelous.
What pep stores called?
In the Fantasy has them, Pep Store has them. I have one that is around and it rains, and I twist it and it makes this white noise sound. It always calms me down. I'm gonna show you a picture of it. They always calm me down. They are rubber silicons. They exaggerate like you can pull them, twist them. They calm. Okay. They make the sounds that most happens in my head, because sometimes I feel like there's something cluttering in my own head. Or sometimes I have a thing of you asking me a question and me having a full conversation and then looking at you like, you got your answer right?
I know, I did.
She got used to it. My parents got used to it.
A phone call and she speaks for 9 minutes and I haven't said a word. And I'm listening and I'm like...
I also love drawing, or like putting things into coordination. I learned to express myself through writing. It helped because I didn't know how to demonstrate to people this is how big my emotions are, because I was always the kid that teachers classified as the silent kid. That's why I always say to parents that have silent kids, I hope bells ring when the kids that fool themselves get straight A's and be good at school are doing well, because there's so much going on inside that we can't explain or express on the outside. Because I was the good kid throughout my learning career, throughout my everything. It's like.
Okay, so earlier on, I didn't know that she was autistic, so we had an argument because she was saying that she doesn't want to work with people.
Yeah.
So I said, yes, you have to. And And then he said, no. I said, what are you studying? He said, well, I'm studying what is industrial psychology. And I said, then you still have to work with people. So we were like, all of that. I said, no, I'll use surveys. I said, no, you still have to interview people. There is no way that, I said, I'm coming back to you. Wait. So I remember when we were here. So now I'm like, that's interesting. So it's not bad then when I argue with Tumi there. Because I'm kind of... Exactly, because I'm like, no, it can't be done like this. It has to be done like that. Okay, but still on the question of challenging behavior, we have 5 minutes left on that. I think for me in particular, yes, I do experience the masturbation all the time. I just let it go. I watch and see how it goes. It goes on, and the eyes roll and all of that. I'm like, okay, this is how it goes. Yes. And then when that is done, he goes to the bathroom because the underwear is soiled, and then we just deal with that. And he's so happy afterwards. And then recently, yes, I now notice that when he goes to the bathroom, it's just to go there to play with the thing. And then it comes up, I'm like, yeah, are you recording? I'll say this when we eat now, the other part. So it's quite interesting, but what I noticed is that, well, this is actually helpful to him. It helps him to calm down, and then it just happens all the time. Exactly. And then the other thing that I noticed is that, okay, I tried when he was younger to like, okay, I shout, he knows. If I don't shout, he thinks something's wrong with me. So I never hit him, but his sister does. But guess what? He fights back. Literally fighting back. And I'm like, go ahead. She is so silly. I've been wanting to hit her myself. So he's like, Mama, Tommy is hitting me. I'm like, what? Tommy can't hit you. He's not hitting. He's just playing. And then he, Mommy, Tommy. I'm like, yeah, thank you. And then we deal with that. So I really, can identify with what you're saying, and also the change of routine. That one it's a problem. It's a problem. And Tommy doesn't like a stationary car. Quite recently, I went to fetch my half sister at where's that place? At the bus stop. So apparently we were early, and he went berserk. Then we had to drive to KFC. You eat KFC and it's done right now, 10 minutes. And he's like, he pushes me, let's move. And I thought to myself, I'll be driving around PE, waiting for the bus. So he literally hates that. And I think I take these not as problem behaviors, but as challenging behaviors, because that is who they are, and that's how they respond to situations. I've never experienced the one of banging the head. Who come to make experience banging the head edongeni or pansi?
Sometimes I open or
Yes, but I once experienced Leogonyuangodonga. I once visited a friend of mine.
Class 6.
Yeah, so we were like talking, and I was like, where's Tumi? Nowhere. There he is. How did you end up there? And then the lady was like, oh, what are we going to do? Must we get the ladder? I said, no, don't worry. The same way he went up there is the same way he came down. And really, I saw him, just descending down, and it was like that, but he doesn't do it anymore. But one of the parents once showed me a picture of her son. I think that boy is going to climb Mount Everest, I promise you. That boy can climb like a plain wall like this. And I thought, how does it happen? I mean, that for me was amazing. So I think there's a lot that these children are actually experiencing.
There's another place up at the South End, I think that's a harbour.
Okay.
And just in down, but I think lapha emva kwe-South End, indawo yokuclimba yenziwe.
Yes.
Please take your kids there. Yeah.
Have you been there? Yes. Seriously?
The other point, kulento ye-anxiety, no change. The paint endlini ijonge.
Oh.
Use this paint. These are calming paints, light yellow, light grey. Don't use all red, no name.
What kind of face do I have?
He's not color sensitive. Someone else might be color sensitive.
Uzawufaka ipaint endlini ubona umntana ene-behavior okokoka ndicaphela nepaint nawe mhlawumbi unxiba ijezi ebomvu mhlawumbi akathandi laa jezi ii-perfumes asazifaki thina because smells, even the cooking smell can induce i-meltdown engumangaliso ukupheka apha ekitchen, the texture of food. So you must observe, you must notice, you must learn from. Xa uzawutshintsha isofa endlini, whatever uzayitshintsha apha endlini efurniture, uthatha use kulaa ndawo uzawuthenga kuyo. Ngoku uzawuthenga ezi zize zabasendlini sazikhupha ezi. You don't just ube happy wena uba ungenisa isofa ezi. Ushiyeke phofu usengxakini yobethwa because awunasi isofa angazaziyo. If uzakwenza extension, if uzawumuva bentsho kunokhanya okanye bene-problem ye-moving. Izinto esicimba sinamsebenzi kuthi zinomsebenzi kubo, and small wins ngenye imini umbone eyokuchama ngokwakhe zii-great wins.
eNew Brighton ngakwaspa eNew Brighton igate ziyavalwa because adventurous uyaphuma and he doesn't have a sense of danger. Uzawufika wena ungummelwane libala uvala igate cheche gone. Gone. Sikhangele asimazi noba undawo. Uyakwazi ufunyanwa eAlgoa. No, that's my challenge. Uyakwazi ufunyanwa eAlgoa. From New Brighton Spa to Algoa, they can run. They run. Kamanye imini wafunyanwa phakathi eplantini easy gas. Uba ungene njani I don't know. Waza umuntu waza naye. The other day ndibuya kwi-function kusebusuku ndiyafika kuyalilwa endlini ndiqomba ke khona umuntu oswelekileyo. Yintoni? Kupha uboy ulahlekile and udala simkhangele sekusebusuku and he's scared of it darkness. Ngoku ke ngoku abantu bayapanic noba kumnyama inoba apha ukhoyo unoba uthini. Siye emapolice station sikhangele sithini asimfumani. Fika omnye ubhuti uthi lo bhuti ke base sidwele dasi babona lo mntana ngela xesha ke uphako 4 years lo mntana usanxiba inapkeni then uhamba ngenapkeni yakhe nevest babini ke babhuti emotweni uthi omnye athi uthikoloshi lo khomntana noba lapha ngila lento uthi ngila lento khomntana noba lapha ngelixesha uthikoloshi yethu uthi omnye man man umntana lo umntana ngelixesha kungekho mzali ayikho loo nto leyo. Uthi lo bhuti amjonga uthi manqomba le ntsobi ndimfanisa nasamwe ukubana lo mntana kule ndawo ndicinga ngowakhona akangowapha ngamsemapoliseni. Laa bhuti ithuki lo mntana ekhaya wathi emangxole umntana lo mntana umfanela nalapha ngowalapha naxa kuthiwa nguye. But sendithetha into yobana ixesha lihambile, now he's 12. Hayi ngoku uyahamba mntasekhaya and he comes back. Hayi ngoku uyahamba he comes back. Yabona la xesha le-COVID besivala mosivinci kungaphunywa kuthiwa ntonto amacanga am bewephelile owaphula vutu glasses everything because he wants to go out. He wants to go out.
Does he know his address? Like he
can't speak. He can't speak, Baba.
I mentioned to you on the blog about the tattoo.
Oh, yes.
There was an American mom who wanted to tattoo her address on the son's name because of him being non-verbal. Yes.
But instead of using tattoos, you can use smartwatches. Somebody created, I think this is a South African girl who created the lockets. Find Me lockets. They have a GPS and you can put a picture of their home.
But if they don't want jewelry, that's another thing.
If they don't want anything.
And what happens is when they get lost, even if they're verbal, they don't want to speak. Because I lost to me for Hemingway's.
This is the thing, when they lost, sometimes they don't want to speak. I lost my son at Hemingway's Mall. We're checking our clothes, gone. Lomdu is verbal, partially verbal. We look around for an hour, I get an upset stomach because I'm stressing. We find him, and the first thing he says, I'm sorry. And he hasn't spoken to the lady he's with for the entire hour he was with. So they get nervous and anxious when they lost and they don't see people they know. So the lady was like, I've been asking him, who are you? What's your name? And the moment he saw me, he said, I'm sorry, Mama. That's the first thing he said. So they get nervous when they don't know the environment and they don't know the people. So actually something like that would be beneficial. I even resorted to having, you know those tags where you tie him to yourself? That's what I did up until he was 8, and then I stopped. Because now he goes where we go, unless I explain. Chomi, sienda unetile, and from there, Chomi ke siyapa. So I do that all the time with them. But when they lost, they lose the capacity to communicate.
Don't even talk about being lost. It's traumatizing. I told you the story of Kumile, and I wanted that day. Ogazanda afa, and Gazufa. Yo!
Into the kule challenge ne yobani ibhale kanye nje kukho into endayengayo na uze ndiye kusebenza umsebenzi nesiste bami bethanda ufuna nawo into yesupporta yami enhliziyo yami yelwele lami nawo into yenzeka kuye nawo yena beqhuma umve umntanami usanda ba ndiyayazi ngizoyomkhangela ndayazi umntana kaSanda mama ulahlekile umkile so nami bendiyiva kakhulu umsebenzi ngingahlali that's why ifuneke ungumzali benifuna ukutsho kuwe uzama uziconnecta naye nansi enye into bona epowerful funeka uziconnecte nayo uyamva umntanakho uyamva naxa ekhala lost or something okanye xa egula because funeka ube connected naye mina ke ngiconnected kakhulu naye yabona xa ithetha sendimazi uba ufuna ntoni sendimazi uba uzama uthini ngoku sendiyazi uba uthi ngumuntu okhathalayo ke leyo funeka ube kuye funeka ube nguye nawe emsebenzini ngoku ndihleli ndiyabiza uba umntana wakho utye into engathi yi-poisonous kwi-grain ebelahleke phaa ngoku ekhala akathethi kanye athini entoni ndathi ndiyamazi oosista bam bamfumane nyano because bayamazi uba umntana o-autism uyathanda ubalekela kwindawo eyi-1 funeka umnotisa athanda uyogqibeka ubaleke ayojika kule ndawo athanda uyojika kuye naw ke ngoku mna ndayenza ntoni i-2 years ben-initiate umntana wam phaa elalini ndakhomye ndaxelela wonke umntu ndimani baxelela umntana wam o-autism and ke banintsi abanye abantwana ba-autism but ke not spectrum so ke ngoku mna ndabaxelela ndathi ndicela nindamkele elalini umntana wam yabona eyona greatest challenge enayo ile yokulahleka because apha kuthwalwa ngabantwana abancinci waphantsi nothwala ngayo umntanam eSenturion that's where eyona danger ye-autism i-danger abakho aware of it so that is why funeka umzali 24/7 abeyi-guidance am-initiate umntana now ndayibona iyasebenza i-initiation xa ndihamba naye endleleni xa isithi imoto kusho ukuthi funeka uyenze ne-X ayibone uyiminishe what is that mom dad there's a car ndifuna nokhani ndifuna ayibone laa nto be-dangerous initiate ngolo hlobo endleleni apha ngakaspani bendihleli igqithi kaspani akho mntu ngamaziyo kaspani umntanam bebesithi lowo namatretes umntana katshangisa ngibondomise bendibaxelela ngibondomisele umjole ngom ndicela umntana wam xa nimfumana nimbonise kwanina xa nimtitsha into ifuneke xa uthetha naye uthethe umtitsha because akazi uyazi then ndabacacisela nge-autism because it's not about mna ndamka kum ever since ndayibona uba idanger le ndasuka bendifuna ukutsho kufuneka usuke kuwe ungene kwi-autism deep because dangerous ibuze kuthi aba balahlekelwa ngabantwana then ke ngoku kukho i-rape kwii-community zethu then ngokukuthwala kwii-community zethu that bathathe i-advantage ngayo ndababona kum eSenturion ndam-initiata kona eSenturion xa ndibaleka kusasa ndifuna ayibona ndambona uyayiqhela naw yena wabamba laa ndawo ibaleka umama wakhe khona enye ixesha walahleka walatha elathisela omnye ubhuti de okoke latha de wabonisa indlu kwam because ndidla ngobaleka naye so xa ndisiyendla so ke mna ke ndiyamfundisa olu hlobo that's a car indlela xa imisa stop because ufuneka uact ufuneka ube out of yourself because dangerous ufuneka ube out of yourself then amapolisa nawo are dangerous funeka niyazi nawo because amapolisa they don't care bazoblame wena I remember nami ndiblame sokuthiwa uyaphangela kodwa unomntana o-autism uzohlala uzojongwa ngubani so uzojonga sithi nakubuna ophunca khona umntana wakho uyakwela amke amathango it's nothing to them and then ke another thing yobhala nentoni impahla zakhe zonke ndizibhalile apha ebheke but ngoku ndizazibhala apha ikhona into engathi zilentuza Yabona then label. Yeah, take those things as labels. They're in front of your child. So it's your responsibility because it's dangerous. But then ubani number kakhulu negama lakhe. So that is where ke ukubazofona khona umuntu nobangibani because uzoyibona ba inamba le uya le. Then mina ikhona ezinye into obuzangibhale autism uyene number so that umuntu abe aware ba akazuphendula. Now ku community yami ndibaxelele nendlela yoba sanulindele ba yena uzoresponda ngolhlobo lweni xa ethetha nithi ba hayi uthena angayiboni bana ngaba le nyunyu akusuppose udlala kuyo hamba suka mndithi bana akayazi because yena ucima into yodlala then unangaphi enye into ile ke ngoku yoba abafuni community to accept leyo ba aba control spectrum into yoziyele toilet into yoba because mina bengisengiqhelelo ndithi phi ngoku ithi bendiyenza and so ke now xa ndimshiye endlini ndiyaleza abantu abangayifuniyo i-challenge nento then abafuni abasivulelanga la gate yoba makaye toilet because but uyanukisa ngale training toilet because yakwazi uchamela ecaleni and then xa ikhulula ushiya sometimes engasulanga that's why
sizothetha besina uthi hold on people train sothetha ngayo after lunch leyo singayibali topic
Nokanda, can I chip in up
sorry for benzile ukuthi at this point benzela le conversation siyeke samnikela ukhosi enze i-round up yale nansika and kudala mosumamela abazali bethetha and maybe we have something and then from there we're going to move to our desks sisebenze so ngakwazi uthatha ikofu umuvele nayo phana we will do activities 2:30 we have a lunch and then after lunch we come back here we talk about potty training and other things.
And we've grouped them into 4 tables or 4 groups. This one is called fine motor. And this works on skills that we need to be able to do to open bottles, to hold a pen or even hold a toothbrush. These are the fine motor skills. That's what we're going to be doing at this table. The second table is going to be doing gross motor skills. And this has to do with our movement and our coordination. Bigger movements of our bodies. Then there we've got the sensory station. We've heard a lot about sensory this morning, and some of these tools hopefully will help a child to integrate. Just as we were talking about fidget tools, we get so many fidget tools, but some of them are expensive. You can make your own sensory calming tools. And that's what we hope to do there.
Can you just explain clearly what they need to do?
Yes, we're going to. I'm just telling everyone in a sec. And then at the end, at the last table, we're going to be doing some academic work or pre-academic work. So here, at this, at the fine motor table, we've got 3 activities. The first one is taking your kitchen whisk and filling it with pom-poms. Now, if you don't have pom-poms, you can use these cotton balls. Now, to some of, you know these little cotton balls that you buy?
Yes.
The cotton balls aren't expensive, they're from Crazy Store, but sometimes you haven't prepared and you're looking for something to do now. So you can just pop them in there. The pom-poms are, of course, much more beautiful. And then, to us, it might not be difficult. But to be able to pinch them out of there one by one without stretching the different parts is what we are aiming for. We want them to be able to take them out. You may have a big one, you have a small one, but this is good for fine motor. You can differ the sizes. We've got 3 different sizes balls here too. We try to get activities that you can do with things that you have in your home. There are websites full of toys that I will spend all my money on. But why not use things that you have in your home? Elastics for fine motor skills, the options are endless. You can put them around anything. A toy, this is an ugly bear, but you can put it around the bear twice or once. You can put it around his feet, you can put it around his face, in his mouth, wherever you want to put it. And then they have to take it off without hurting themselves, of course. They're going to maybe sting themselves once or twice. Take it off. Put many around a toilet roll. Putting them around twice could also work. You get those little elastics that you put in the hair, the girl's hair. Those can also work around a tiny thing. Pulling these off, fine motor skills. Pulling them off. And this is very challenging to some of our children. Does this cost a lot of money? No. Most of it we have it in our houses. You could even put it around a soft toy. I saw, you know, a pine cone that grow on the trees and then they fall off. They've got these little spikes coming out. I saw someone put a bunch of elastics around those the other day. Very clever. Around the teddy bear, and they must take it off the teddy bear. This is a very ugly teddy bear. And then the third thing, which I love doing, and it's definitely much more fun in summer, is playing with water. Now, you get so many different things, but a syringe is fascinating to most children. This is a tricky syringe, ladies. It's very tight. This is good exercise for those fine motor skills. Then, anything like a spray bottle. Some children have not yet mastered the art of spraying. That's fine motor skills. If we add color to it, so much more fun. If we add 2 colors that when mixed make a different color, we're teaching 2 things here. We are doing fine motor skills and we're talking about colors. This is yellow, this is blue, and when we mix it maybe in a different container, then we get green. Yes, so if we take a bit of this one, these medicine droppers that you get with some of the children's medicine. Woo! That is brilliant fine motor skills. Oh, my gross motor skills aren't so good today. But being able to pinch and let go on demand, that is a skill that takes time. So let them play outside, hopefully. Ladies, we're trusting that you won't mess today. Spoons. This little bucky has holes in the top. It's an old toothpick holder. The fact that the water falls out is again a sensory activity. Water trickling down. Maybe if you have a, what's the thing that I can't English today? English is not my home language either. That you water the plants with, what's that thing called? We have one? A watering can. That where the water trickles out. That's again a sensory activity. So we're doing fine motor. If we're doing a watering can, it's gross motor. We have to aim in the bowl. And then it's sensory. That's sound. It's calming. Taking a little ice bucket and making them drop the drops of water into each hole. That's fine motor skills. That's hand-eye coordination. We are working on different things at the same time. Okay. So that is our fine motor station. I also have one of these that you pour the water through. Children just love that. Why do children love that? To make a big mess. Taking a scoop and pouring it through there. Ladies, you are all going to come and have loads of fun here in the water. Okay, so those are our fine motor skills. But as you can see, so many of these things incorporate other skills too. So you're never only doing one.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your job today, ladies, at the fine motor table.
So this is what's going to happen. You do all of this stuff, and then you are going to reflect.
Yes.
You think about your own child, who's 2 years old, who's 5 years old, and so forth, in terms of which of these activities do you think you are going to start with? Because when you get home, you must do this with your kid, and you must train other parents to do the same. Okay. So that is the point. Now, can you please just move and check what they're doing?
And the fine motor is because they are born with low muscles.
Yes.
All the gross motor, the fine motor, the everything. Nalento bengakwazi the toilet. Xa usiye toilet une-push. So kuba bene-low muscle tone, they don't feel that push. That's why it's not easy to teach them toiletry.
Yes. We're going to do some core work here too. So these ladies have quite some work to do. They get to play. I'm sorry, ladies, you have some work to do. So the first activity is, you know hopscotch? I want to move. You know hopscotch?
Yes.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take, yes, you know hopscotch, that thing? Yes. I've got my tackies on just for that. You are going to draw your hands and then draw feet. Now, if your child is a little more advanced and can distinguish right hand, left hand, the game can become more advanced. But for now, you are going to make squares of paper or rectangles of paper and draw hands and feet. Let's make 10 hands, 10 feet. And then you arrange them. You can do 2 hands, 2 feet. You can even do 3. You can do 2 hands and a foot. 1 foot, 1 hand, depending on your child's level, depending on the core strength. I mustn't do 1 hand, 1 foot. But depending on your child's level, even if you just do 2 feet, 2 hands, 2 feet and 2 hands, it's up to you. You'll see there's a picture there. But that's good for the gross motor. And of course, we're thinking academically too, if we do left and right hand, if your child is able to.
I'm going to struggle to do.
No, you have chocolate after this. You may have a chocolate after this. Your second activity, what was the second activity? Was taking a tea towel and a ball. Now this is something that we can do together.
Yeah.
Will you take that side? We can do together or we can do by ourselves. We put the ball in the middle, look at this potato, and we roll it. It seems easy to us, it's not easy to everyone. Or we can, thank you, or we can take it by ourselves and roll it. Also good for the vestibular awareness. The bigger the towel, the better. The bigger the ball, the better. If we can all do it together, that's a nice activity. And everyone has these things in their homes. And then we take tape. If you've got colorful tape, that's nice. But we've just got boring tape. And you draw lines. Now, have you all heard about planking? Do you know what planking is? I'll plank for you. So you stick the lines on the floor.
You will do it here. Yes,
I think you must come and work here. And the child can either jump on the lines, 1 foot. If the child's able to do 2 feet, you can try and do 2 feet too. Or we can plank out like plank. So 1 line is here, 1 line is at my feet. And I climb like this. Yo! I'm excited today. But you're also going to do it. Okay. Another thing you can do is you can stick the line in a zigzag. You know, pre-writing activities. We always, do you remember when you were at school? We did, in Afrikaans we call it the hasie spring, the rabbit jumps. And we've got the perdjie spring. We had all these names for them. But you draw or you stick the lines like that. Then we walk on them. We walk on them. On the zigzag. We walk. Or you can make loops like that, and we walk on them. You'll see there's a picture there. Yeah. So this group's going to be fit after today.
So decide how you're going to do it. Maybe some can start with this, and others, whatever you decide.
And don't stress that tape. Good. And then it will feel like the stress balls that you buy.
The jelly that is set. They can eat it.
Yeah. Yes, and you don't have to worry. Flour you don't have to worry with. We also have beans, because that's a slightly more, I don't know, the seeking texture.
The different textures, they must feel different textures so that different textures.
And luckily they don't get dirty while doing it, so it's a good way to explore textures. Now, I have twins, and yesterday when I was making this, the one said, I never liked that stuff. And I said, yes, I remember you never liked that stuff, because I used to get photos from the preschool where the one is covered in green spaghetti. Then I asked the teacher, where's the other one? She sent me a photo under the tree. So this is an acquired taste. Not everyone likes it, but you can pour it in here. What could work is you could hide toys in there. You could combine it with a fine motor skill. Yeah. This is a challenging thing. I don't know if you've ever thought about how challenging it is to be able to pick something up like that. It's very challenging. It's got all sorts of coordination going there. So you can even play with a tongue. Combine the sensory if they don't want to touch it. Let's start getting used to the sensory idea with a tongue. Okay, but I want you all to stick your fingers in there. There's a lump. There's a lump for in case. Okay, and these ones are also to go in there. Okay, that's that for sensory. Then what did we have in academic? So sensory, you got it covered. You know what to do. You actually have the easiest job today. And then
Maize meal will work with this.
Yeah.
Maize meal will work because it doesn't stick to the sides.
Yeah.
Maize meal is an incredible thing. Okay. I don't know if you've ever tried to mix a little bit of maizena with water. Have you seen what that does? children
Yeah,
love that too for a sensory activity, if you color it especially. And then here, you've also got some work to do. We've got some of these, but you don't have to use them if they don't want to. But again, just like last time, we're encouraging you to, for academics, have a set of the alphabet letters and have a set of numbers, depending on your child's ability. Have a set of numbers 1 to 10, 1 to 20, 1 to 50, however many your child's able to do. But have them, because if you have these sets, you can do so many things with them. Something I did the other day was I have a set of alphabets and I stuck them all against the wall and I said to the child, but the child was able to do this to learn beginning sounds. I said, all right, find me everything that starts with an A in the house, go. That's an activity. If you have these things, you can do so much with it. Just have your set of A to Z, preferably lowercase if we're starting to read. If we're starting to read lowercase, later on we can work with uppercase, or if you want you can fit an uppercase and a lowercase on one. So we do the big A and we do the small A and we make sure to form it correctly. Not everyone is a teacher, but a T is not just like that. A T has to have the round. That round is very confusing. They need to see it as much as they can. So setting up a set of letters and numbers is important. There's more paper there if there's not enough. But then, when we're going on with the letters, now we've got the whole set. What do we do with it now? Sorry, can I push past you? I brought some flour here too, but you can use salt, you can use sand, you can use glitter if you're a very brave mother. I've seen people use glitter. I've seen people use shaving cream in a tray with a bit of a side. Shaving cream with a bit of a side. Shaving cream is awesome, and you can throw some food coloring in it and make beautiful patterns. Sensory combined with academics again. But taking the letter, mommy puts up A for apple, there, close, so that I can watch it all the time. And now I take my finger and I make A for apple in the whatever mom put in here. The salt, the flour, this is just plain flour. The sand, sea sand works wonderfully. Depending on whether your child is oral seeking, if your child puts things in his mouth, you need to be wary of maybe they're not. I don't think shaving cream is edible. So maybe not shaving cream then, although some children survive on things like that. So whatever you think, but I think flour is safe. Flour is safe. And then that's what I'd like this table to try. And then for the numbers, we're also going to need to steal one of these for that. We create a car park. And this is for boys. I only have sons, so I'm sorry, moms of girls. I'm very uncreative when it comes to who has girls? How many girl mummies are there? 1, 2. There are more this time, hey? More girl mummies this time. Last time it was paper and write 1 to 10, or whichever numbers we're working on the little piece of paper, and stick it with sticky tape or with press stick. But these are stickers, it's going to be easier. Write the number on with a Koki or a pen and stick it on your car. The child might be upset that his car's not got a sticker on. And then you create a parking garage. And this can be now matching. I need to know this is a number 1, it has to go into number 1. But when your child becomes more advanced at sums, that can be a fun thing too. So 2 plus 3 is? 5, mommy, take your number 5 car, you're allowed to park it as a reward. So a little car park is what you ladies are going to make for us today. Okay, so for the academics, you might need more paper than what we have here. And then I'm going to steal for you on that side. But yes, I think with academics, it all depends on the level of your child. But having A to Z and having 1 to 20 is something that you need to have in your house. Sometimes, something just presents itself and you think, hey, this is a nice idea. We can do this. Let's see what's the letter of the alphabet that this thing starts with. Their favorite toy. Then you have a card to show. This is what it looks like. What I like about having a set of cards is it's constant. If I were to write, okay, then my child likes this, let me show him what an A looks like. Now, it looks different every time. On my card, he can remember, this is the card for A, for apple. You can even draw an apple if you're very creative. You get these things. You can buy wonderful tools and sets of these things in the shops, but they're expensive. You can make your own. Okay, so academics, you understand what to do. Okay, then I think...
phambili mayibe uniform mayijonge phambili omibini ngokufana iyayilunga i-fixes even ikawushi iyayilungisa
uphazamisa kwangubrother wakhe like ishiti angalilandeki avele athi ingubo nje kufuneka xa uyendlula uzithatha zona ibhuku ubeke phandle ishiti everything kufuneka ulivuthuluzansi kwanyanzela into yoba
ubhuti wakho urayithi ngomdala
mdala like
u-esport
but akafuni xa usendlula ungalivuthuzela ishiti ungathakishi you must tuck non-verbal akanayo no akukho nto iphumayo but i-action yakhe ufuneka beclean ifana nempahla neshophu nantoni uyabo so akhange ndibe nayo iproblem ngaloo nto but
away kwindawo
so kwi-potting training I think abanye ke
bafuna ibe njeya ayineyayinenandila autism akadila usidirect bawufuna le mpeni ihlala ngohlobo funeka ihlala ngohlobo unaphakathi wena ukufika wayibeka ngohlobo uzawuba ligeza uzaphinde ihlale kanje awuzomthini it's just an addition to the autism OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder.
And because isatshintsha i-wardrobe and then uyalikrunqa already uyalikrunqa abeke phansi the other day ithatha manifisa avele
so abayivi yakwazi so what I did ke mna ndimse toilet at intervals at intervals noba kafuni so ke ngoku le to poop I go to the toilet by myself and then I show him now because yena uyahlala angayazi and then angikwazi ukuforce umpenikisa yena
so uhlala uthini uyahlala
na toilet then ke ukunaye ahlala mom impoop stomach seyazi ba yinto esethole ndibonekileyo now ke ngoku yena uyahlala ne uyayenza aphinda angayenzi but kuthiwe manyamezela ade ibe then ke i-toilet roll i-challenge yam endlini ayibikho camweni that's another thing funeke yonke into ibe lapha they are accessible so ke mna ke i-challenge yam iseyilana is-accessible then ndihleli nabantu abangamvumeliyo i-toilet because abafuna bathi bamdake i-toilet because uye aphule up engasulanga that's the reason why ndinxisa i-pants so that into eshiyekileyo so ke ndisayenza loo nto ndisacontribution kuloo nto ngokuba naw makubone enye into endiyenzileyo enye itrick bendinikwe ku-OT uba I have to take out le nto zakhe xa ipupile then go with him toilet and show him this your poop is going to the toilet let's flush it yes so yena uyayibona athi oh flush it yak you see it yak you cannot do it here do it there then into ayenzayo ngoku xa ebhudile engayi toilet uyathi mama poop you should have gone to come quick, come, let's pull it out, let's flush it. So now in the science along the layer, so that unpanic because pellets man unpanic. This is for poop because the new I born it toilet I born into any kind of money. And the poop yuck. Like come out because I go comfortable na lento. Confinement. Then that's another thing endibone kuye xa ifuna uthi ibhobhe nxibisine busy lena mwakhulula waxhoba ewe waxhoba waxhoba bangasepakeni wathi
heard of a lot of people bathi baqala
really ndavuya then umama ke ngoku babona loo nto sandibathi ukasalona uvela akhulule ngoku aye ekoneni
ibhoti ayibeke phaya akafuni uhlala kuyo uzawuhlala apha ecangwane okanye asikaphakame efront xa liphinde namyeka ngaye phaa ayozenza.
You always get a spot uzawuzilamba tu indawo uzawuzokubalekhala ikhona into ayenzayo then uve ngesimelo ugqibelekile and he make sure uba xa egqibile uzoza kum okanye uyakutata okanye kusisi like uzoza azokubamba or something it's like ingatuthi aphinda asuke kuwe ke
umntana amfusa laa xesha le-corona ne-lockdown ndamfusa phandle eyochama phandle umntana khe isaphile ke laa xesha ngoba uyabhijoloza mos kunzima mos ngalaa xesha asiphangeli uhlele lokishini yabo saqomba sina-choice nathi yabo sinxibisa ibhigini xa funa uchama uyavula umnyango uyachama phandle xa ebuyile high five sibethana izandla well done yabo and then and up eqhala ngalahlobo and noma kunayo uyakuxelela athi uya esikolweni ngoku nento uqala kwakhe isikolo
Last weekend ingathi long weekend it was one of the worst weekends because mye kuseyibhotile okokuqala because umdala uzobasanqanqa ibhotile netiti uyabo
ngapha ikhala mna singafuni
so simyekisile ke ngoku ibhotile. So ke I think be-adjusta kuloo nto then ke simfundisa at the same time uba makazityele because benimtyisa makazityele ngecepotho esikolweni funeka afunde uzityele azilahle phantsi azithini ithi ndibawile nokhala nam. It was so stressful.
Owamakaye ekrishi bekhe waye ngoJanuwari waya nje one day bandibese bathi akazulunga apha ufunele ikrishi yabantwana
uhamba kwe-special schools naye loo nto but nalapho sifuna ukutshintsha ngoku simse kwesinye because I think abamkwazi because they're expecting her to sit down and do activities and akakabikho kuloo level.
bona bamthathe as umntana onormal
njani kodwa bebethe sisikolo especialize autism
esikoleni ezinje zihamba nabantu abahambayo that's why nam ndifuna umkhupha because of ndiye ndifuna i-follow up utisha but andiyifumani because of kaloku yena ufuneke yena xa uthile naye uthethe ngendlela eyiyo ungamshawuti because wathi umshawuti ubanefright kubona but umntana uyaziyela etoilet uyazichamela yonke into uyazityela but ke uphiki uyasithanda isonke esinejelo
owamke ngacapha like ipapa samtyisa uphakame mhlawumbi kwenza loo nto phaa ushiye icephe apha phambi kwesinye ufake isandla phaa yena cause yonke into aqhela uzitya like ibhiskithi okanye isonka uqhela uthetha ngesandla afuthatha ipapa ngesandla nali icephe apha ecam kwepapa okanye ukuye walithatha ke icephe elo ufike ezula nalo ke ngoku ngeba ukangala someone uzamnikisa
but uthela naye kakuhle unazi patient
very patient sonke phaa endlini qha into esiyenzayo siyamvula thina siyamvula uba ufuna udlala apha phantsi kwesasitulo sabekadlala apha phantsi kwesitulo but imonitor qha uba akho nto izomzakalisa phaa uba ufuna udlala phandle like iyabantana phantsi asikwazi udlala phandle sihlala naye endlini but enye nenye asibe sikhalaza uba hayi suka sudlala apha sukuthe samngxoleni samyeka just let him be.
Sure.
It just felt seen. Like seeing other people talk about things you've experienced and you didn't understand yourself. I feel like each my table felt. I feel like that make the entire experience of always being isolated and feeling like, okay, maybe I'm just different. Maybe I'm just weird because some of us titles weird. But then having a community with neurodivergent parents that are willing to learn, find out what's wrong with their kids, it gives you hope for the next generation that didn't grow up in 2008, 2001. they get the new opportunities of learning, like the people that care about how we regulate our emotions, the people that care about how we go through what we go through, the overloads. When light is too much, when we feel like our bodies are on fire because of certain clothing, the people that care about that. So it was an amazing experience. I got to learn that there is a bigger community for autism in South Africa, which is something I didn't know. I always thought it's us, people with autism, battling autism, or sharing experiences, or people with ADHD sharing their experiences, or people within the AS spectrum saying, so hey, this is my struggle, and this is how I manage it. So yeah, it was fun to be here.
Yes.
Kodwa kubona uphakathi and then awuniki le nto ayifunayo iyaphinda uphinde umnyango toilet so thina sesimazi uba ufuna ibhakethi lakhe so sithatha ibhakethi lakhe sinike lona baleke nayo ikhoneni
Mna ke kwe-speech ne-therapy, the other thing is kukho wathi wena usayina for into uyamgqibezelela uthi ufuna amanzi okanye ufuna ijusi kwathiwa kum yiyeke loo nto hlala usonge izandla azokufunda upointa shini umntanam wapointa a couple of months later hayi kho nto bengayenzi khupha ibhowuli yakhe eyakhe i-orange ekakwakhanye igreen nekwati yakhe ziyametsha akhuphe yakhe nekwati yakhe akhuphe i-convex akhuphe ibisi athatha asepha erumini ndibandilele nje azibeke phaa ndaenza kaloku yayiva
phathela amanzi nezinto zonke aziqhelileyo athi zenziwe
so wathi ke ngaku-speech therapist okay so yinto le breakfast so wathi Sina, do you want breakfast? Yes. Okay. So next time ngoku akasazisi ngoku belathi mama breakfast. Yes. Bonisi. Sasa namhlanje uthi ugqiba wenza nomsister wakhe i-cornflakes waza nesonga nemela ne-chocolate spread. Wathi mama I want chocolate bread. Beke aqoqa uvuke kwezibhele asiphathele pepeti. Yabona? So kwathi sumgqibezelele makayivule ifridge akhombe lento ayifunayo. Ayikhomba after a while uzodayithetha umane ude beyikhomba nje yena uthi jam akhombe enye uthi milk so that ayabe yini all along ike inyani uyatsho so lento ndisinamo iba ngathi izinto zoqumbelela
chama ngolu hlobo nawe mama xa kufuneke kuyenze unambathu umbonise ba ndiyahlala because sometimes boyika kwa umngxumo lo we-toilet omnye abanye abantu basibona toilet ezi-colorful ezi-green nezinjani mhlawumbi woyika kwakhala lena and omnye ukucaphukela kwale nto iphuma kuye abanye bayayitya ke bayayitya abanye ne yenziwa yiphayika ke loo nto leyo so zininzi into ezinobangela bangafuni etoilet except into ye-low muscle tone kuloo ndaba ye-low muscle tone ukuqhina mlalisa abaphantsi umntana wenza ibhayisikili xa iqhinile wenza ibhayisikili ingathi uyadlala naye umane umasaja apha ezantsi kwesisu umane umasaja nalapha mhlawumbi umbeke across you ubani ngathi uyamasaja apha esinqeni ezantsi doing that bicycle ininzi into ebenza idiet iyamenza aqhine there is a group ye-healing abazali are singing praises about into ethethwa phaa bensinzawunika umpumi naye qala kwi-detoxing le detox siyenziswa i-dandelion teas ne-milk thistle njalo uwolwethu nayo khona kulaa nto so izi-researchers kuba zingade ziyazi autism enziwa yintoni na zithi ngoku 70% of what we eat it goes to our brains sonke une-autism akunayo whatever you put it here it goes there and I think nale Alzheimer ininzi kangaka it's a diet isike ngoku kwacaba umuntu uyafika ku70 umuntu ngoku kucaba hey nawulunga
Adikhona into erongo khosi
there's something in the environment
iveki ungatyanga kahle nawe
awuziva right
khona into ekho right
and uve bakuhlela into kanti ukhona i-India apha enguSadhguru elikhona phaa ku-YouTube umuntu uSadhguru ukutya isuppose uba kuphume after 2 hours utyile but sinokutya kweminyaka kwenza ntoni kwi-system zethu and ubone even mhlawumbi nobuso bakho bunamaqhakuva buthenteni une-pigmentation into esesuswini, be consistent. Uyamthatha kusasa uyamsa esandovuka atyi breakfast very uyamsa. You are checking uba uzawudenze nini na so that ulibambe elaa xesha. Awufosti mntu apha. Abanye bayazimela bangene ezodropini benze bagqibe phayana. Zama ifuna i-observation le nto. Ifuna i-observation le nto. And ke ngoku nawe sukuba harsh. Yawazi ulanga kazanto zetuwa umuntu endala. But sukuba harsh udilisha nenye into.
And futhi ezi-spray zithengiswa eshop azisebenzi. Funeka uye enento ikhona le shop enento woma ne opposite it's just that I think namanki right ile Moriam is 71. But now I buy spray I know it's very expensive. But this is room spray. At least kuthe yona kuba better. Yabona ezazithenga eshop?
Niyabona ke lapho inuka kakhulu. Ifuna lam detox nomdiwebo.
Rain. Igama le shop rain. Rain. Ise woma opposite ecango seMarkenpin.
Oh okay. Uyabona abazali bakubalandelela lansikele protocol yakwa healing. Bathi xa befike kulaa nto yoba kuya detoxwa kudiweme kutyiwe i-probiotics. Bathi ayinuki ke ngoku into ephuma ngelo xesha but after that uyapholwa because ngoku utshintsha izinto utshintsha nokutya. So into ye-autism funeka ikwenze ba ube ngumntu o-curious ofuna ukwazi. Uhleli nje ukwi-learning band, trial and error. Sometimes usahamba kakuhle even aba bakula healing athi nditheni sihamba kakuhle nda-edisha into ethile wabuya umva umntana. So kamandi uyayazi uba yintoni imbuyisa umva uzayi-eliminate yonke laa nto kwidiet yakhe. It's not easy, it's very expensive, but kuba ingabantu beroutine benememory xa uyichanile ke akaphinda yeke. Kukho omnye pha befike because sibesanayo into ye-toilet training but sathi abazalini ndi-asayina umntana komnye we-caregivers uzambhatala ngenyanga imali ye-toilet training. Awukwazi umntana ukuya etoilet you stop. Lo mntana ebengakwazi nokubamba like ufika splash xa chamayo unumber 2 ke ngafuna umenza. So ndimxelela umzali ba unumber 2 kamenzi wapha esikolweni kuthiwa ke endlini ufika ataka amenze ne. Wafundisa ukuqalela uba uyabamba utyebile ke ngoku funeka benda uyaxhathiswa ke ngoku fundisa ukuxhathiswa ba makayibambe ibheke. Wayikwazi ayazi ufunqulelo ngento yakhe uyenza. Sothiwa mina senza unumber 2 emsebenzini kule nto yabo yozibamba ngondani sequest kukho umntana wehlala erhafu omhlophe bethathwa every second week kokwabo. Ebengamenzi unumber 2 yonke la 2 weeks. Yatya ke xa kufikwa ngase-Johnsonville unetyholo lakhe aqhuba into yakhe kwela tyholo ye-2 weeks. Fike endlini xa buyela eQuest Vier tyholo kuloo ndawo qhuba umcimbi wakhe Vier uzayibona after 2 weeks. I don't think benza into laa nto they manage kule nto yabo ye-anxiety nentoni. I don't think le nto ba ekwazi uzibamba nochuma ii-hours umntu engachami. I don't think imenza nto loo nto but funeka sibafundise uba sizame i-anxiety le isuke.
Talking of that, we have a live example. Tell us, do you also hold your pee for
I
the
can
whole day?
ignore the reality of who I am, especially when I'm studying. If I get in a zone and it's me, my books and my submissions. So I can sit like this and do this in my chair and study for hours up until I realize, oh, I said I was going to post that I'm studying, and I post that I'm studying, and I go back to studying. And then when I stand up, I'm like, oh, no, my stomach, I need to go pee, I need to go pee. It's something I do all the time, and I've gotten used to it, and I can ignore reality also.
So they control
Let me give you a visual setting of my brain. In my brain, there's Lelo, there's Mpumelelo, there's Shimi, there's Jaden, there's Annalise, there's Kevin. That's 6 people.
And then you have Mpumelelo, which is me. Okay? I'm in charge of 6 other people that live in my head. Kevin is a part of me that goes anxious. If you say something, you will like, I fault. Something in my brain or in my head get triggered to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna die. And then I realize, oh fuck, no, somebody was just stomping their feet. Or somebody yells at their kid, it's not me, I didn't do anything. But Jaden's sense of justice is always like, is she supposed to be yelling? Like, why don't people learn gentle parenting? Like, it's 2021, duh, kind of vibe. And then you have Shrimi. Shrimi is the critical, intelligent part of me, I think. It's the person I blame. Every time people are like, why would you get that mark in your test? I'm like, oh, it wasn't me. I didn't write that test. And people are like, you sat in the exam room. I'm like, yeah, I get it, but the Indian I raised in my head wrote that test. And someone's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, see how Indian parents have a sense that their kids should be intelligent and everything? I kind of adapted that and then created somebody in my head that come from the Indian background, and now she's super intelligent and she solves everything I need solving from. And someone was like, that's awkward. And I had a conversation about this with little Kaylin. Kaylin is 9 and she goes to a school for special kids, and she always suffers from determining her emotions, and she tells me that, will the voices in my head shut down? And I was like, they won't never shut down. There's never a day where you're gonna walk out of the house without Jaden telling me, well, there's men in the world. Are you dressed in a way that you're safe from them? You live in South Africa. Do you have your pepper spray? Are your keys around your hand? When I'm gonna leave a taxi, when I'm gonna get to the house, it's a routine planning to get to the house without getting hit or without bumping to someone who's gonna hit me. Is someone gonna say something nasty? How are we overcoming it? Are we shutting them down like we didn't hear them and keep walking? Or are we running and taking a different route? There is always a caucus discussion. He's sleeping. He's always folding. Like, it's a part of me that is always terrified. And that's why I always tell people, if you're gonna do something for me, tell me beforehand. I don't like surprises. They are an element that I do not like. There is a girl I follow on Instagram. His name is Louie. She documents her entire journey. And there's a part of me
protecting herself from the world.
And then there's a part of me. There's a part of me that I always call my super agent. When it comes to Lelo is the confident, vibrant human being that is gonna go in debates, participate in everything, wanna volunteer, wanna be around kids. That's the me that is like, I can do this, I can try this, I wanna see this, I wanna watch movies, I wanna go play soccer, I wanna try this.
Tell me, is there a part of you, like going back to the discussion on potty training, that says to you, I'm not peeing today?
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Why is it?
It's like, it's not about today, it's about a situation. Like, I'm sitting right here and I'm like, we didn't go to the bathroom. In my head is like, what? You don't even know where you are. Yeah, kind of vibe. It's a concept of environment. If I'm in South Campus, I know where my bathrooms are. This is Mission Vale. I've never seen with the bathroom direction and everything. I didn't even check them when I came in. I bad. My buddy's like, we didn't pee today. I'm like, and my buddy's like, and then which direction do we go? I'm like, we ask people. I was like, people? Who is people? And I'm like, but I've been talking to them. It's like, go ask Babal. And I'm like, but I don't know bother her. She's too far. Then you stay where you are.
I think those are the intelligent ones who've got these less.
Then you stay where you are. It's a concept of, like, I've dealt with.
I told you, I'm dealing
about Kelsey. Like, Kelsey is 9, and she
and
just
you are not
discovered
there. You are not there for them because you don't know. You don't know what
Shimi, because there's the intelligent part of her.
That
she's
No,
trying
this
to.
idea we are bedroom, we are couching. Like my son, okay, maybe you'll give me a solution.
My son has left his bedroom. He sleeps on the couch. Why is that?
Because it's a new place.
We've been there forever. Like he used to sleep.
I fall asleep outside. I can pick up my pillow from the room, put it under a light dress, and then fall asleep just watching the clouds.
Why
I will fall asleep and sleep like nothing is going to happen to me. Nothing is wrong that day. In the yard.
Do your parents know that?
Yeah. I sleep anywhere. I can go hiking. I can go hiking.
But that rest is not safe. So where are the security guards? Do people come and wake you and say, okay, this is not right, and it's cold outside, you need to go outside?
Okay.
I think
Can we try to ask questions in a lower tone? The lighting is a little bad.
Yeah. Okay, I think must me again.
So, what I'm trying to say is it doesn't matter if I am. It doesn't matter if I'm in a mountain. If I feel like sleeping, I am going to fold myself and sleep. Because my bed is said, this place can be a nice place to relax. So I'm relaxing. Is my body gonna come back to me when I wake up and be like, how did you sleep in the mountain, dude? My same brain, the same brain that told me to sleep while sleeping, will come back and ask me, why did I sleep while I slept? It's like I go through another interrogation process. Before somebody else interrogate me for what I did, I already interrogate myself. Same thing for dropping marks at school. Before I give you my results, I know that I did bad, and my brain is already having a caucus session about how stupid, how dumb I was of second guessing myself, while it was it that led me to second guessing myself.
Yabona ke ngokulona uyakwazi uverbalize lento ayiverbalize cinga ngomntana non verbal cinga ngomntana ongclassic classic ngaba balapha. It's not easy,
man. We really appreciate your story. And I think all of us, when we listen to you, you kind of give us hope. You know, and at the same time,
calming down.
We understand better. I don't know. And we finish the same.
I'll try the slot kwa Nkqubela FM phambi ko-11 ngoLwezibini. Ndenza ke ndibuze i-producer no-CEO ba abanawuke bamfake na. As much as ke bethetha into ende, I don't know izakwenza kanjani because umbuzo uzawuvimbayo. 15 minutes ka 15 minutes iphela ho. Akazwiniki 30 minutes kaloku izilot kaloku yathengiswa pha mna ndingena free ngeniswa free pha so ngula 15 minutes kwaba ngqithwa. I don't know how can it be done. I don't know.
All right. Thank you so much, Nef, for writing. I think I feel better. I feel better. I really
debates can master.
I'm trying. Kukho obani okay ke bethunana ke niyabona uba azibeki into zesingathetha so ke ngoku we'll try to organize another session somewhere September, October. Then it will be more about nutrition and diet and also sexual and funeka sithethe ngayo izakwenzeka nomntana akho na 2 or 5 usezomasturbate
at 5 wayesenza at 6
so funeka ube nazinga funeka nibe ready. Okay, so bengicela ke ngoku silentuze sivaleni ngomthandazo besivule ngomthandazo and then we take a group photo. Okay, ukuthi ozuzos director into basi maybe siyabulela kakhulu nakuwe ngoba usinyamezele wamamela. I'm sure you know a lot iividiyo zam ke idla ngokwenziwa nguye so ngenye imini wasothusa uthi nokucula ingoma kaChulu kwakwenzeka ntoni osusucule ingoma
kaloku udlala oko laa ngoma
bode yangena sibona ngayo seyicula sothuka hayi bo ingoma kaChulu lesiyacula anyway thanda uyicula like uba I love you, you love me. So uthi ke yena xa icula ayingafuni ukwenza into cula laa ngoma xa usithi hamba yithi le okay you mean no yabo funa uyochama okay so umntana wakho nyani observe. Okay, thank you so much Candice, I always appreciate it. God bless you. Thanks to each and every one of you, parents. I know it was not easy to come here. When you woke up, I'm sure some of you were like, Masai. But then because you love your kids so much, you decided to come. I really appreciate that you came all the way from Jeffreys Bay to here. It's much appreciated. So let's continue sharing what's going to happen. Remember, I opened the group so that I can coordinate the whole thing. I will post the pictures that I have and then I will delete the group because it was just for coordination and all of that. But most importantly, please, that's my number if you want to WhatsApp one day or ask anything or whatever. But please share all this information with the people in your area. It's very important. It's not just about us, it's also about other people. September, I'm going home. My home is in Zolo. So I'm going there to tell my people about autism. Because one enzela izimanga siye ecaweni. So ndibulala. Onyuka ohlala nabantu beVestry. Akuse church, church ayohlala pha ephethe itablet idlala apha. Kuthi ucula pha. Yesu ethi hayi. Ndiqonda oh yini Nkosi unfortunately la cawe katamncu wami. So ebengazomngcolisa uChulu. Aba mama becawe bendijonge. Ndizulise ndijonge pha. uChumi akafuni akuthanda ukutya. Ndibangathi isikhaftini. Anjongwa yena. Ngalamini kwakuzoyobhaptizwa abantwana andithi kokwehla i-congregation isuke pha endla emva kuyobhaptizwa.
Pelitye.
Wayehamba kuqala ebakhokhele ngejoyous yakhe. Wayotsho pha etyeni kwabhaptiza abantwana ebajongile babhaptiza. Uthe xa idlula apha ecinga ndathi grab laa nto andifuna nje ukwehlisa ivolume. Ndayehlisa wayithatha wabuyela back eVestry. Wahlala pha neservers kuyothandazelwa abantu. Qamba hayi ke ngokuthi uzokwenza kanjani. Ndaya pha kuye ndathi and then uzokwenza kanjani. Wathi wanwari. So beza kuye ke ndahleli kuye. Lo ungafuna ubanjwa wayehlele ethe engashukumi ndathi hayibo. Benza yonke lonto leyo. Then after that I thought, you know what, because of la mehlo abafazi babenika wona, I really think they need to be educated about this. It's only xa utamnceyo shumayela wathi okay, now we have a visitor today. Adanoma ifoto no into ayiphetheyo ningamoyi. We welcome you Chumi ntoni. Xa kutsho acofe pha. And then emva koko. So that's why. So I'll be going there in September and then just educate. But then all the information I must start translating. I must translate all the information to isiXhosa. Ba yintoni autism ndicacise impawu yonke into bengesiXhosa so that bazokwazi ufumana all that. So umsebenzi ke umninzi akungabani nawe you can do the same thing with community yakho. Lokishini elalini wherever you go. Make sure that you educate umuntu about autism. Ohlenga ecaleni ebhasini etaxini eplane wherever you tell them about autism. So I think it's part of healing as well. Ndifonisa noba ingathi le healing uyodo for sa healer.
Injani.
But there are days now can khale. Okay. Phinde isivuthulula ngoba okay. So it's I think senziwe sangabantu abaspecial ngenxa yale situation. It happened. uThixo would have changed the situation, but we wayivumela bayibenje. And I think asivumela siyamkele sibathande abantwana bethu kuzoba better. So please, if unangosilapha before siyahamba, we can exchange inamba nomuntu. I think now uyabona uba ngubani umuntu onothetha naye, connecta naye, so that kube nomuntu ofonela or uthethe naye or something.
Nokanye ngithiswe into ba ndibenye ku TVET College is retreat to do awareness. So if ndiya ku awareness ndifuna uyazi audience yam ukuze who can tell me something about ndothuke ndaphansi ufazi we-3 they know nothing. Yaba ngomnye mhlambi othi umntana wechomi umntana wentoni kutheshiyali, but ke ngoku shame bafuna undibona very so that kuthiwe set up into like ukujongwa yenayo. Iseyi I think mna ignorance kudala kuthethwa sithi nokusebenzisa awareness ngokunini isithetha nge-awareness ignorance kuba umuntu engangena endlini yakhe.
Seyingenile ke sometimes
hayi singixelela ukhona enye psychologist a friend yam umntana befunda ndiyasazi isikolo manqunyiwa nge-8th Avenue eWoma usiza from kwela cala umntana befunda phaa umntana ke ngoku uyakhutshwa phaa xa ubhutwe nemali ndazo nethaveni wayintoni umntana uyakhutshwa uthi kule psychologist umntana uyathanda kwesa sikolo kangoba unegama abizwa ngalo ndothuka loo nto kutheni ngaxiki into yoba ubizwa ngegama loba njengompumi umpumi benixela ngebhulizim beyifumene ufuna ufoster le psychologist ibhale a good report umntana ufuna umsaphe eSt George's nemali engaka ke ngosi St George's sende engaka waranzi uyenza loo nto leyo laa nto yoba umuntu angamkeli nantsi khona akamkeli and it's not about umzali funeka umzali it's not easy to accept but lidla ngokuthi abazalini ulibele kuba busy nawe ne right bala mntana uhleli phaa ulindele wena ekugqibeleni funeka ufunde it's not about me ndimphiwe lo mntana uxhomekeke kum ngento yonke de mna ndiyofa mna manzame lo mntana jonga uyomfaka enye ipressure yaseSt George's ngoku uzawubizwa ngantoni phathi abantwana bakhohlakele abantwana bayathizana and bacimbe into engenamsebenzi uthizana and idla ngokuthi abantwana xa bebodwa umntana abantwana basenext nabasefront bawudlala umntana akho but ngabazali abazawuthi lo mntana unjena ngamazali abazakwenza abantwana babo bayazi bona umntana different from abantwana bayadlala bona nje ngabazali abafaka
thought process.
Yes. Bayadlala abantwana banaxesha loo nto leyo bona.
Ngoku cela nisingalibali ngosisa gqibezela just ufinisha nje ezi forms sendike zona but salinde 2 minutes banegqiba. So nguyibirthday kamamam ne. So kukho amanye amanxila ke apha. Naku uyathanda uperform. If okay. Nabo eyozifaka emanxileni le uchumi. Ayohla nabantu baselayo. So ndiqonda phumile angasuki tu ne. So ngokulobhuti abese isithi aba uchumi wenza lanto befuna ubona mhlawumbe ufuna uthintini amqhethe. You lamntu le what? Ha what did I find pam? Sange mkhali. Yo, iwas kugcwele abantu kusepatini. And ndiyathetha ndisispeaker apha ntontoni mama ntontoni. Wavele watsho lapho. Kakhala. Yintoni? So abanye ababana bathi hayi akekho umntana ongekho right. Uthi lo mfana uright le kwani right into enewrong apha. Yu wamthini uchuma kamyeka ngaqala uyamkhwela.
Ungabafundi bakuthi nca.
Hayi ndayikhala into yazi. I think ndasendikhalela neminyaka edlulile.
Oh abasincedayo kule into ye-autism uba mabayivule ibone ifunde nathi sifunde kuye sincedakale. Sibulela wena Nkosi yamanzi usivulele, sibulela wena usi-empowerishe mesilungu uba masikwazi umamela sifunde. Sibulela wena usibekile apha, sicela usigoduse naye le knowledge. Sicela Nkosi namandla ufundise namakhaya ethu nabantu ehleli nabo ukwazi ngale autism. Sicela Nkosi namandla ucontrol ingqondo zabantwana bethu, ube nguwo ophathayo, ube nguwo i-guidance, nathi sifundise usipha amandla. Sicela Nkosi namandla elungileyo ube kanti iyahlala iyakhula lento eSouth Africa, kubekho izikolo, kubekho into yonke esizokwazi ufunda kuyo. Nesiyolungileyo sipromisa wena singabazali sogada abantwana bakho sabanikela kuwe, siyabulela. Amen in Jesus name.
Amen. Baba Nkosi yethu Yesu Kristu, uthando lukaThixo, ubudlelwane bomoya oyingcwele lwanga lungahlala phezu kwethu kude kube naphakade. Amen. 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 Amen.